He gets his dick chopped off just out of nowhere in the movie. You see the dick hit the floor, and he's like, "My dick!"
I did totally used to get my haircut based on JCVD movies.
Minus Hard Target.
This show, we're always basically 40 minutes away from whatever we're trying to say.
Well, last night was my first night in a bed that I didn't get woken up every 3 hours for vitals and shit.
Maybe it's inappropriate for any ass eating to happen in a film. How about that?
Get on board with that. That seems reasonable.
Yeah. Like, how about we just keep the ass eating in the bedroom where it belongs, you know? Like, between 2 or more consenting adults.
Or more.
Click this, and we are live. Welcome, Long Walkers. I am Palmer, hosting from Dayton, Ohio. Long Walk, Short Drink, episode 50. 50.
50 years old. This is Dave podcasting at you and live streaming from Northfield, Minnesota.
And I'm Moto on Maplewood.
Moto.
Maplewood himself.
Welcome,
Good to
buddy.
be here.
It is
Great to be here.
It is great to have you, sir. Great to have you.
Thanks. Thanks. Great to be a part.
Yeah, I'm we got Double D and Twinkie on the last episode that we might get lucky and they pop in again for this episode, but now like this rounds out the full cast. Now we're going to get to catch up with the full cast. So it is good to have you on here, sir. How are you doing?
Yeah, this is great. Doing good. Good to be home. Good to be back on the podcast and celebrating 50 episodes. I kind of been with it since the beginning. I mean, I got, you
have been.
Yeah.
There's no kinda. You have been.
Yeah, and I guess I was like brainstorming a little bit with you guys as far as like how to start. I was like, well, just kind of pile up some episodes and see what comes of it before you put any out.
Yeah.
And so yeah, and then Maplewood, little
and all the
rock and roll.
All those early edits that were just fantastic, and the theme song, the Long Walk Short Drink theme song that Dave sent you, that amazing car recording.
10 minutes of
the 10 minutes of just Long Walk Short Drink.
Couple of dudes trying to find a way back home.
I always love that couple of dudes.
Yeah.
I'm glad you remember that too.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, yeah, no kind of about it. You have definitely been here since the beginning, which was
that's right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Part of the staff.
Part of the staff.
That sounded vaguely sexual to me, but oh man,
sexual. I'd like not to change the subject.
No, please. I'm so into this. I'm ready for this.
Of sexual. I watched a legitimate movie today, like a movie that just anybody could stumble upon on Netflix, that had one of the most graphic sexual things in it I've ever seen in a movie that wasn't porn. Like,
what was the movie?
So do you know the show Workaholics on Comedy Central?
I know of it. I've never actually seen it. Yeah.
Moto, do you know that show?
Yes, I know of it. I haven't seen like every episode, but I know of it.
Oh yeah. Same here. Like, but the episodes I have seen, it's really funny. It's just
they're ridiculous.
Ridiculous offbeat comedy, right? And so Netflix decided to give those guys their own movie and let them make a movie for Netflix, and it's called Game Over Man. and it's on Netflix. It's been on there for a while, and I just happened to during lunch today turn it on, and it's essentially imagine workaholics in Die Hard. That's what the gist of the movie is. So it's like these three bumbling maids, because they are maids. They like clean the rooms. These three bumbling maids stumble upon this like elaborate plot to try to hold people for ransom and then ultimately end up saving the day. But in admits that there is this like 3-minute long analingus scene, just like between two dudes, and it's two dudes. It's like,
no,
yeah. Which I mean, hey,
yes.
I'm all about like, whatever floats your boat. But it's just like, and the guy and it's being done as like. There's no without giving the whole because the setup would take like 25 minutes, but it's basically like he's being commanded to do that. Like, give me the code so I can get into your bank account, or eat this guy's fat ass. That's like basically what he's like. I didn't want the codes to your bank account or eat this guy's fat ass. And like the guy that's being told to do that just looks at the guy who's holding the gun on him, and he's like, "It didn't have to be this way." And then just like no shame dives into it.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you're right.
It was the most, and like I there were a few things during that movie. Like, first off, Daniel Stern is in it. I haven't seen Daniel Stern in a damn movie and I don't know how long.
Oh yeah,
he just out of nowhere here's Daniel Stern like Wet Bandits Reunite, right? Like,
oh yeah, that's like okay,
yeah, and so he comes walking on the screen. He gets his dick chopped off just out of nowhere in the movie. You see the dick hit the floor, and he's like, "My dick!"
You just see the dick hit the floor.
You do.
Like, oh my god.
That's all I'm going to tell you about this movie. If you don't want to see it, like if you don't want to see like analingus and Daniel Stern getting his dick chopped off, after
oh my
that,
gosh,
you got to check this movie out. It like blew my mind. It was outrageous.
But did you like it?
It was, yeah. No, it was really funny. Like it was super funny. And it just like, I mean, if you've seen enough Workaholics, like there's enough weird shit in that where you're just like, what the fuck? And then there's like some stuff in this that are really like they're tropes, but in comedy, but oh man, it's just really good. It like the one friend only smokes salvia because weed doesn't work anymore, and so he's like, I only smoke salvia, and like so the other friend is his dealer for salvia. And later on in the show or in the movie, they go to his closet and he's got like pounds of salvia, and they're like, why do you have all this salvia? And he's like, well, it turns out he's the only one that likes to smoke it. Everybody yells. And there's a few salvia jokes throughout the thing where like it's just this terrible drug, but he likes to smoke it.
Yeah, I remember when that became like a trend or something, maybe the late 90s.
Oh yeah.
Where it's like salvia, dude.
Oh man.
And then Miley Cyrus was maybe smoking it and it made a comeback. I don't know.
That's what I saw. I saw the video of her like out of her mind. That's my only frame of reference.
Yeah, no, there's just some things that I think just shouldn't be smoked. Like people do trippy shit with like crack. Crack's a good one. Nutmeg. People die trying to smoke, like get high off a nutmeg. I guess there's like, and this is the other thing too, is like, I mean, I've been high plenty of times. I've never needed to get high so bad where I'm just like, okay, if I screw up this I have to nail this perfectly. Any drug where it's like, if you go too much or too little, bad things are going to happen. I'm like, I'm out. Like, nope. Like,
yeah.
I've
had my experiences of like really good ones. And, well, say shrooms, for instance, had some Kool-Aid shroom juice. And I had the best time ever. And nothing really bad happened. And then I've had other experiences where it's like the worst time ever. And it's like, no thanks, not anymore,
Yep.
But
yeah.
Or like the Tide Pod deal. Like that's just,
Kids are
Do laundry or smoke it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. No. They did like again.
Do
it's
laundry,
like
kids.
Yeah.
Do laundry.
Don't smoke it.
yeah. Just make drugs legal. Like how about that? So people don't have to try to like smoke
Yeah.
brain cleaner. You know, like
Jeez, yeah. That's they're doing some work here in Ohio, at least making cannabis legal medically for the right people. And that's the biggest thing is like first off, it's like been used for 2,000 years in medicine. So the fact it's still a Schedule 1 drug is just a big middle finger to us all. But then and you know what you're getting. You're getting a sativa, you're getting an indica, you're supporting the workers here that are putting the time and energy into it. But so yeah, quit making us smoke Tide Pods.
yeah, no shit. No shit. Oh, so what else has been up?
Nothing too much to speak of.
Your
here.
hair's gone.
I did get my hair cut today.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like double impact right now.
Thank you.
Whoa.
That's hilarious. I did totally used to get my haircut based on JCVD movies.
Minus Hard Target. Never got to that one.
No, I never got to the hard target. But definitely like the shorter cuts that you could do. So in the first one is like Bloodsport, which if you look closely in Bloodsport, sometimes it seems like he has little racing stripes, kind of almost.
I used to get those in my. I used to cut my hair like that when I.
Did he?
Oh,
yeah. I remember Moto doing it a lot when he was a kid,
Vanilla
like
Ice.
a young kid.
Yep.
Yeah, Vanilla Ice. I was like, Can I get that thing on the side?
Yeah.
Yep. I used to get my hair shaved into a V in the back, and I had a rat tail off the V. Like,
oh my God,
yeah.
that's magnificent.
I was a
What
redneck.
age?
I'm still a redneck, but I was a redneck. I was a total redneck kid. Like, there are pictures of me sometimes where I'm like, Jesus, was I a Rittman kid? Like,
That's yeah. Like I said, my friend Timmy and his soccer cut. It was just Rittmanites, just doing what we do.
yep, that's it.
Yeah, Moto and I used to get our haircut by a family friend too, so it was, there was definitely like a familiarity, and I could just say like, look, cut it like this. I don't know if I brought in pictures of Van Damme, but so then I would part it, harsh side part like he did. So I'm probably in fifth grade doing this, and then like Universal Soldier would come out, and I would get the like military cut. Yeah, I did that for years.
That came across my Amazon Prime recommendation recently. Universal Soldier.
Universal Soldier?
Yeah.
That's a pretty good one.
Yeah, I
I'd
watched
stand
it
by that.
recently, and of course, I love the part where he discovers food. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
it's just like, Hank, we got a deadbeat, and he's like, I just want to eat. Oh, that was good. And then, of course, my other one is Dolph Lundgren at the end. Because there's all kinds of those terms or whatever. He's around and these Arnold Schwarzenegger things.
Yeah, like one-liner jokes. Yeah.
Yeah, but I like when he had the girl, Allie or something. I can't think of her name.
Yeah, Veronica Walker was her name, but Allie Walker is the actress. So that's nicely done. Yeah.
Oh, so I was close. Had her held up and we'll shoot her in the chest. We'll shoot her in the head. He played such a great psycho.
That's right. And then when he's like, ready, fire, and then he goes, it's empty.
It's empty.
It's empty.
I maybe have only seen that movie twice, and I remember that. I remember that exactly. That's how great of a performance that is.
Yeah.
He is still batshit crazy. Him in the Expendables, like he plays the one that's like the loose cannon of the like a whole group of loose cannons, and he's like the loosest cannon of all of them.
I'm all ears.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like...
I think we talked about on the show one time when I read in a magazine about how he came home when he was being robbed. No.
Shit.
No, that was Brandon Lee, but there's something similar with Dolph Lundgren. I can't remember the specifics of it.
Mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe he just missed the Roberts or something. I'm not sure. But it's a pretty
what
funny.
he did to Apollo Creed? You don't fuck with that guy.
I know. Yeah.
Like,
oh my god.
and he just did that as a message to Rocky. It's not like he actually wanted Apollo Creed. He just wanted to send a message.
Oh, that's right.
Come to my country.
Yes.
I saw just a couple of minutes on that. We have these great channels here in Northfield. I don't know where they come from, but they are not like pay movie channels, but they're premium movie channels of some kind. Well, I don't know, use the term loosely, but one is Retroplex, and one is Multiplex, and one is Indieplex. And they show the weirdest assortment of movies. And Rocky IV was on recently, and I watched like a couple of minutes, but I was like, whew, no, I can't get into this now, but I got to watch that movie like soon. Yeah. The channel is great too, because I was flipping. That's often what I'll put on like on mute if I'm doing some audio work. And but last night I was surfing, and the Explorers was ending, so I tracked down the next time it's on in the next couple of days. Yeah. So I'll have that on my DVR for our next kids movie thing.
When we come back from hiatus, so for those of you listening, we're going to be going on a July hiatus after this episode. So you probably won't see new episodes after this one until August, most likely. Yeah. So when we come back from that hiatus, we'll definitely we're going to try to get the next Cabin Kid episode in with Logan and Pumps. Yay. And then I'm going to actually tweet out. Ash and I are still going to hang out with him on the 30th. So
great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We're going to go up to Columbus and hang out with them. And we're kind of planning this like week-long excursion where we're just going to spend the week of the 4th on the road, just bouncing around from place to place and visiting whoever we can. So maybe we're kind of up in the air on the 3rd and the 4th right now. We have stuff for the beginning of the week and stuff for the end of the week. So maybe we'll pass through Rittman for something.
Yeah, man.
So nice.
Usually hanging around this place.
Yeah. So
I've been hanging around this old town too long, counting crows.
Nice. I don't want to forget to say, just for your own edification, about Dolph Lundgren. He's got a TED Talk.
Really?
Oh, genius.
It's called On Healing and Forgiveness.
Wow.
That's awesome.
And I watched it a while back, and it's like, I think he grew up in an abusive household or something. And yeah. So I was unexpected. And of course, he's a super smart guy, actually.
Yeah, he is like a mental level genius or something, right?
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah.
Something's in that neighborhood. Yeah, so he's an interesting guy.
Yeah.
And I do have some JCVD stuff we could either get into now or later. I don't know.
Let's do it now.
Yeah, there's always time for JCVD, right?
That's right. Well, let's call this the first actual installment of JCVD Me.
Oh, there you go. Excellent.
Yes.
So this came in the mail today. It's the Rewind collection. You can see this on our YouTube channel at this moment in the podcast of Lionheart, nice. one of my favorite JCVD movies. And it's got all these special features. I'm just going to rattle some off, but some are going to be of note here. Doesn't matter about the specs. Original theatrical version and extended uncut English. Yeah. Archival audio commentary by Sheldon Letters, the director, and Harrison Page, who is Joshua, the handler, the guy who talks a mile a minute. Let's see. Oh God, there's so many things. New Lionheart Inside the Story, featuring interviews with cast and crew, including star/co-writer Jean-Claude Van Damme. Awesome. So there's more, but that's the thing that is especially interesting about this is it's the first supplementary content he has appeared on that I can think of since, say, Replicant in 2001, where he does that thing in the commentary where he's like, I don't know, the movie's good. We don't want me to say. I'm here with my friends.
He does he does the deaf narration, is essentially the
yeah.
That's right. And then I do this across the screen. I man in the face. And
exactly.
Then,
he was high on coke. This movie. There's just no doubt.
Oh, that's awesome.
And that this was, I remember back in the day, Dave used to get Entertainment Tonight, and they used to different.
Entertainment Weekly.
I don't know, Entertainment Weekly, but it was supposed to be called Wrong Bet. So when you see him at the end, he's like, "Wrong bet."
Yeah.
That was supposed to be like the key phrase in the
That's
name
right.
of the movie.
And then when it cut to the 80s theme, like, wrong bet. Like something like that. That's what you get when you make a wrong bet.
Oh, I want to see that version now. Oh, that's amazing.
And the like in the
Yeah.
credits, you know, like all those synth drums and everything. Like,
That was good. Good times.
wrong bet.
Don't bet against JCVD.
That's right.
It's a wrong bet.
I need the dance mix of what just happened. And it's all like quotes from those movies and stuff. Maybe that's the JC and Me like theme music.
Did you do a wrong bet?
It's just like, what's going on?
Oh, yeah.
Let's go. There's all these like little sound bites. Oh my god! So I haven't watched that yet, but I'm excited about it. What do you say, Moto?
I don't know. Thinking, and then after that was Death Warrant, which was supposed to have a different name.
Yeah. Oh, just before it actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
Just before it.
Yeah. That was going to be called Dusted.
Dusted. That's it.
Yeah. And he does.
Sandman, Kurt.
Oh
Can't kill the Sandman.
Wait, keep talking about Death Warrant. I'm gonna get the JC and Me picture for the segment because of the Death Warrant mention. So, tell us what else you remember about Death Warrant while I grab that.
The chick. She was hot.
He gets hot chicks in on his movies. I will give him that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and he was the thing back then, man. He was. We were looking forward to every movie, and oh yeah, Double Impact. He had the black silk underwear.
Yeah. I was wearing my MeUndies today, which are like they're modal, but they feel like black silk underwear. They are black. Okay, so here's the never did sponsor us, fuckers.
Jerks.
There's some closet shrinkage going on with those underwear too, because they don't fit me as well as they used to.
Work on your product, MeUndies.
Yeah. So this is the picture I was thinking of with the JC and Me thing, and it's me standing with a cardboard cutout of him and Death Warrant, as though we're like taking a picture together as equals. So this is, you can see it on our YouTube channel, and perhaps I'll cut it into the segment. I'm even doing the like ridiculous half smile that he has. Like I'm sorry about the glare. It's so silly.
You have to get that. You'll have to get that photo scanner app and take a picture.
I tried actually. My phone is too old for it to work. But I just recently got a new printer scanner to make that happen.
Gotcha.
That was all for the. Oh my God! Oh, we're just down the rabbit hole now. That was all for the. A bunch of other
binder on your laptop.
No, this is actually like one of my earliest like projects I made, because that photo was part of a photo shoot in my bedroom for something you could mail away from to be on the cover, sort of Inside Karate. So that's me on the cover of Inside Karate as a 11, 12-year-old.
That's so awesome.
That's like Brandon Lee. That's bad.
Oh, that's very generous. And I was doing my best to rock a double impact hair.
Yeah.
In that moment.
On the stands.
But that was also because that was the first movie that Jacko and I tried to make together. This is even before like Moto Remember like Illusions, where we disappeared.
Yeah.
But you know, was all excited about Double Impact, and so we came up with this movie that we just called Impact. Oh my God. Plot.
But the witty level of the creativity, though, for 8-year-olds is amazing. Like,
That's very kind. Oh man. So, this is in like children's handwriting, and it says plot. hired assassin Jake Crisp, after being chased down and shot by gangster Edward Naponi, is now dead to the known world. So the agency sends a rookie, parentheses, Lawrence Leone. Where I'm getting these names, I have no idea. A lot of
Very
them are
important.
yeah. Sends a rookie in his place. The two assassins meet on a dock on Lake Erie. They later team up to kill Naponi and his fellow gangster Tony LaVita. And then there's one more paragraph. Oh, sorry. Holy shit.
This is amazing.
Thank you for indulging me here. So the next paragraph is
the only thing is though is you have to tweet some of this out. You can't like.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, yeah. I'll scan this. Now I can scan things. So in the year of 84, Edward Naponi threatened the police chief's family's life. In order to keep them alive, he had to let the gangsters do whatever they want to the city. John Crisp, Jake Crisp's brother, was on the case as an FBI agent. He got a tape of one of the conversations between Naponi and the police chief. John was killed, but the tape was passed on to his brother, Jake Crisp. Wow, I don't know where I was getting all that from, but that's where it ends. And then there's a budget sheet, $1.97 for hair gel. It's the first line item here. $3.98 for a videotape, $4.98 for a videotape, 99-cent audio tape, and $1.97 for spray paint.
Wow.
That's the budget written in like red pencil.
Oh my
You got to get in the black. You got to get your projects in the black there, Dave. Like,
oh wow, there's more. Oh my god. And we did shoot some scenes, like computer tells the story. Oh, I guess there was going to be a prologue on screen. Opening scene where Jacko falls off the cliff. So I remember shooting that actually at Rittman Cemetery. Krams was in it as one of the bad guys. I barely knew him, but Jacko did, and he was wearing a suit and a black turtleneck.
Sounds like a villain.
I'm so sad this doesn't still exist.
that sounds exactly like a villain.
And he was standing next to someone else. I can't remember who though. We filmed that. There's only one snippet of surviving footage from this, which I do have on a video page. So I'll tweet it out with the password. Actually, the password will be LWSD. I'll tweet out fuck it. Jacko's in it, but you won't recognize him. I'll just tweet a clip of the clip, like whatever Twitter will allow. So you won't have to need a password. Another scene
also,
is I get a letter at my house or hotel. Sorry, go ahead, Mona.
I was going to say with the black turtleneck, black suit, I was like, all he needs to be doing is petting a cat. And I was like, that's Attila the Hun.
Yes, from Lionheart, yes.
Yeah.
Attila, a born killer. Me getting hired. Jacko's house gun scene. Oh, that's the scene that survives. And it's almost line for line ripped out of Double Impact. So basically
Here's a photo of a young Krams right there. I just put in the chat.
Oh yeah,
a young Krams in Impact. His suit and turtleneck.
Wait, see if I can share my screen.
Krams also killed me in The Crow.
That's right.
Oh
Gets his blood
man!
pumping.
Oh, my face.
Yeah, that's right. Who is this guy you've made up to be
I have no
Krams?
idea.
You just searched the
suit and black turtleneck because that is like a villain trope. That is like a villain look.
Yeah.
All of these guys, like if here, let me just send the image search results because all of these guys are like, they look like villains.
What if they're Dickies? If they're wearing a Dickie, it's not a villain.
If they're wearing a Dickie, they are not a villain. That's the nicest way I can say that. If they're wearing a Dickie, they are not a villain. Or click that last link.
Oh my God, there's
It's just like all villains.
I would say he looks like Eddie Redmayne one.
There you go.
Yeah.
There, look at that.
Which one did
black
you click on?
turtleneck. There you go. Young Krams, villain.
Yeah, he didn't look altogether different than the Eddie Redmayne that I've got up here now. He had like a tuft of like blondish kid hair, and Krams is kind of he was probably full grown a few years later, so he's on the short side like I am, but
Grown a few years later at 12. Full grown at 12.
but
I was almost one of those kids too. I was the big man on the post in basketball.
yeah, so was I. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
But in middle school, I was, I had pretty much stopped growing taller. Anyway, we filmed a handful of scenes and it never, oh, it says Moto and me fight here. I basically have a shot list. Shoot us coming up the driveway, then back up into the garage, from the garage, shoot from the garage until Moto has thrown me on the ground after beating my head against the car.
Yes.
In parentheses, van. We must have had a van. Number 2 out of 3, then stand between the van and the house until I take off my shirt.
And then it's all over.
And then shit's going down.
Yeah. The number 3, then shoot from the right side of the garage until the end of the scene. Oh my God. I'm not sure if we filmed that scene or not. Possibly. And I was such a fool to erase these things.
All I can think of is the scene from the Goonies when Sloth takes off his shirt to reveal the Superman S.
Oh,
Like two brothers are just like, oh shit. And like the other brother's like, we're in deep shit now, Francis. And that's all I
just saw.
is like you taking off your shirt in that movie and like that exchange going like, oh shit. Shit now, Francis.
shit,
Like,
what?
oh shit, what?
Well, I mean, there was no muscles to show. Woo! So yeah, I don't know how I got there. Oh, JCVD, right?
Yeah.
First installment.
Yeah, so that was the main thing, kind of. Except for I had something I've been kind of thinking about doing, and I thought episode 50 would be a fun time to do it. I put together a supercut of the things that he did in the exercise video series that I finished that made me laugh out loud. Now,
I haven't got to watch it yet, but I did get the link.
I sent it to Moto earlier today because it was 11 and a half minutes.
Oh.
Which is funny. Well, at the beginning, the first 2 minutes is just him explaining what the series is, but that's still kind of long. So if you guys are not up for that, which I totally understand, there's basically one thing that's probably about 2.5 minutes that may or may not be funny, but when it happened, I was just like, what the fuck is this? So that's included in the longer one. What do you guys feel up for? You want to just do the shorter guy?
Well, if you send the link, I could play it through the Long Walk Short Drink account. So then the audio would go over. So then our one viewer, thank you, one viewer,
right? Oh, that's
be
good.
able
Yeah,
to see it as well. So and it would at least make it in the feed. You could splice in the actual video into the feed if you wanted to. When you you know what I'm saying? So like it looks clean and not jerky.
Yeah, we might want to well, I don't know if we want to mute our mics. But no, I could still do that and it would just it will work out. Okay, so I am going to put that in the chat now. It's unlisted on my own YouTube page.
Okay.
Because and I don't know if we'll get in copyright trouble because it got pulled.
Yeah.
Like I screen scraped these things because I was worried. I'm like, I know the internet's going to take this away from me.
Well,
and it did.
The Palmer's picks with crams didn't even. That's not.
Oh, did you try and click on that and it didn't work?
Yeah, multiple times. It's blocked.
It told me they blocked it in certain. I read that email. We got an email on that, and they said they blocked it in certain countries, but not blocked it completely. America must be one of the countries that
I know.
blocked.
Yeah, because I couldn't.
That's why it's still listed. That sucks.
I wonder, and I checked our, because we get that sometimes because of the break music or whatever like that. Not blocked usually, but copyright notice.
Yeah.
And I checked our standing, and we have 0 copyright strikes. So like,
good.
YouTube's not mad at us. But
well,
I guess that's good.
It just is frustrating because it's an algorithm looking for that crap, and they've actually there's a large portion of the YouTube community that's really upset about it. And they've actually done like 30 minutes of just static, like fuzz, and played that 30-minute video. They posted that 30-minute video of just white fuzz, white noise and fuzz. and it got like 30 copyright claims within 5 minutes of
What
them
the
posting
hell?
that. Like, and there's nothing in the video. It's just 30 minutes of fuzz. That's it. And it's
Wow.
just their algorithm. There must be movies that have like scenes that show fuzz in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
That's our fuzz.
You're right.
and that
yeah.
algorithm like picked the like matched those together and then said these are so like, and it's not just YouTube's algorithms. YouTube is opened up to studios have put out algorithms that scour YouTube now looking for. So it's not just YouTube. It's like ABC says they're like says, hey, our bot found this claim. No human being, and then all this is being done electronically. So like no human being actually saw it with their own eyes. YouTube says, okay, we're going to then let the producer know that there's a copyright claim against this video. And it's like, so then it's just, there's a lot. The reason the community is upset is because it dissuades new content creators from coming on because it just looks insurmountable. And it makes their content that they've been depending on, like some of these people, this is their job now, you know, when it was much more loosey goosey. That's like, you're going to have growing pains with this. And it was much more loosey goosey. And yeah, nobody should be able to just steal content and make money off of it. I totally agree with that. Fair use is, I think there should be some firmer guidelines on fair use. Like what we're about to do, I totally see as fair use. Like we're celebrating something that we like and we're not
actually promoting it to other people.
Yes,
to say,
exactly.
Exactly. This is worth buying. This is worth, investing in.
If you like our show, you might like this thing too. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like all of our stuff that we talk about usually comes from that angle. Like, we really like this thing, so you might like it too. And
unless it's Val Kilmer.
Unless it's Val Kilmer. Like, don't. I have embraced. This is like Dave will send me JCVD GIFs, and I will send him Nick Nolte GIFs back, like in response,
pretending it's Val Kilmer.
Yes, but it's like it's not Nick Nolte, it's Val Kilmer, like because oh man, yeah.
Well, that's the timing is too perfect for one of the other links I had in the spreadsheet, which is simply the headline in the Hollywood Reporter: Val Kilmer returning for Top Gun as Iceman.
Oh shit! I knew it, and it's. Here, let me see if I can find a picture of him.
With the turtleneck on.
Yeah.
Wait, share your screen when you get it, just so the YouTube will come up. But I remember when we first were talking about Val Kilmer, and it was kind of making fun of the fact that a couple of years ago he was putting pictures of himself on Twitter saying like, I'm ready for the sequel, and it seemed like there was no interest on anyone else's part from the creative team, but thankfully that's not true.
Oh God, you know what I heard today was Bill and Ted's 3 they're planning for like 2010.
Yeah,
script writing.
That's happening.
That's one of our running jokes around here is Keanu Reeves, one of the greatest actors of our time, and then we say many other people are the greatest actors of our time.
Yeah, I think Dad's first one was Nick Cage. He would say, and I don't know if the first time he said it if he was being serious, and I laughed at him because of maybe it was because of the movie. I think he was watching like Ghost Rider. Anyway, I don't know, but that is funny. Wild Stallions, man. I don't know that movie nearly enough. I probably only saw it once, so I'm excited to kind of revisit that. I never saw the sequel.
Bill and Ted's?
You never saw Bill
and Ted's once?
Look, here's Val Kilmer.
So.
This is Val Kilmer from there he is. A young Val Kilmer from Top Gun. Here's Iceman. He looks handsome.
Iceman Katinsky or whatever.
So
he does. He looks great there.
This is but I'm not unfortunately, I'm looking forward to this. This is Val Kilmer here.
It's Iceman.
This is the new Iceman.
Unfortunately, I can't see, but
oh wait. Oh no, I closed it. Here.
That's all right. I'll watch it later.
Here we go. There he is. How about that? Can you see that?
No, I'm on my phone and sometimes I can only.
Gotcha. Yeah.
That's all right.
But there he is, the new Iceman.
That's funny. I've never seen that one. I'm looking so young. Real Genius was actually the thing I put on mute. No, you know what I did last night? I started with Real Genius on mute, which is on BBC America or something, and then I switched to that one of those channels and watched Raw Deal, kind of on mute, that Schwarzenegger movie.
Oh yeah.
I figured it was something I would have seen and been familiar with and was kind of comforting, but A, I hadn't seen it. 2, it did not look good. But yeah, Real Genius was on last night too, and that's some primo Kilmer.
That movie actually. So that one, Top Secret. Have you ever seen Top Secret?
It's so funny. This is all coming up because last weekend we were sitting, the bride and I, kind of around breakfast time together in a place in the house we usually don't.
We lost Moto too, by the way. I don't know where it went. Yeah.
Oh no.
Anyways,
we were
eating breakfast.
Oh yeah. So I was flipping through channels trying to find something that I would enjoy, because she wasn't really paying attention, and I stopped on Top Secret because I saw it was Val Kilmer, like 85 or something, 84, and so we watched it for a while. I had never seen that.
It's an old Zucker Brothers movie, right? The guys that did like Naked Gun and I'm trying to think of some of their other. They always do that. Like, is that like considered non sequitur comedy or?
Oh yeah, I don't know.
What you would consider that style of comedy. It's almost like a live action Family Guy. Whenever I see Family Guy episodes, that's what I like. I just picture he just ripped off the Zucker Brothers because they used to do that kind of humor all the time, you know?
Yeah, it's really like big, broad humor.
Yeah. And and oh man, I love that movie. It is so good. There's like when they wear the cow suit and they have the floppy boots on, and then
I don't know if I saw that part.
So the villain betrays them, and he plays they decide they're going to sneak in wearing a cow suit, and what they actually do is they put big rubber boots on an actual cow every time they're filming. That's supposed to be them in the suit. So like, but he plays the ass end of the cow, and when they're walking, a bull comes into pasture and like mounts them like while they're in the suit. And so like later on in the movie, he's like holding them like at gunpoint, and he has to walk, and he like walks all like hunched over, like with this like his ass like in the air because he got
never
mounted.
Seen a hero with his ass in the air like that.
Oh, but
as I think about, like, I was thinking about that Long Walk Short Drink Remembers today, and like, oh, you know, these kind of like opening, because I haven't been playing many openings, theme songs that we have for the bits when they come up.
Yeah.
It just felt like it would break the mood, but I was daydreaming about what clips from previous movies that would now be classified as Long Walk Short Drink Remembers. And I thought about, you know, when I thought about Maximum Overdrive, that was a line to come to. I thought of immediately.
Absolutely. Without question, that for sure would be a Long Walk Short Drink Remembers in the vignette there. I really like the direction too, since we're talking about all this now, the direction that you're moving with the video feeds, like that lower third looks really good. And
thanks. Yeah. For viewers, listeners, I just started when we do a segment. I was putting up like a thing on the video feed that links to our the respective Twitter accounts. So when we do a Dave's Digs, I put up my Twitter account and that hashtag, which if you go to the hashtag, you'll see like the past things that appeared in that segment. And Palmer's Pleasure, the shit the bride says. I just started doing that last episode 49. It was fun though.
Yeah, no, it's a good time.
Thanks.
I wish.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go
on. Just another little coincidence is we were talking about Val Kilmer and Top Secret. I listened to the first of 2 episodes recently since the very long hiatus of Squadcast. Good. There we got Moto back.
Yeah.
And they talked about that.
No, you're fine.
Glad to have you back. I don't even know what we're talking about. Still Val
Squadcast.
Squadcast, yeah.
Squadcast went on hiatus. Now they're back. What did they talk about though?
They talked about Top Secret a little bit. And,
really?
In early Val Kilmer movies.
Well, I mean, there's Top Secret. There is Real Genius.
Yeah, those are the two.
Those two those would definitely be Long Walk Short Drink. Both of those I could see being Long Walk Short Drink remembers movies. At least Real Genius is for sure.
Yeah, I love that you love that movie because that's one of the bride's all-time favorite movies, and I had never seen it till she and I got together.
Is it so good? And just like I love everything about that movie. I don't know, all of that sounds good. It's a group of smart kids, and it reminds me of Space Camp, the movie Space Camp. Have you ever
sure.
Like
yeah, I have the VHS downstairs. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah,
I love that movie. That scene with Kelly Preston and Leah Thompson before they go into space in their underwear and a long T-shirt. Please.
Oh, yeah. No.
What? I mean, other things happen in that movie, but for me,
give me your belt. What? Give me your belt. You're a genius. Like, I love it.
Yeah, I loved Space Camp. Yeah, that's such a great time.
They get the bill for breaking Daedalus, right? Like, your parents get the bill for breaking Daedalus.
Right. And isn't Tom Skerritt? Am I making that up? Is Tom Skerritt from Top Gun in Space Camp?
Tom Skerritt is in Space Camp.
Is he?
No,
good.
He's the veteran, the veteran astronaut who talks them back down, right?
Okay, yeah. And that's what I have to imagine that in the new Top Gun that Maverick is going to be like Tom Skerritt was to Maverick in Top Gun. Maverick will be in that place in his career.
Awesome.
Tom Skerritt.
So awesome.
Oh, but so just a little more on the Squadcast connection. That documentary is called. Oh, and it was funny. They're talking about Real Genius. And they're like, and who played Laszlo in Real Genius? I don't know the actor's name, but it's the same guy that plays the werewolf, the Wolfman, and Monster Squad.
No, that he actually came up on. There was one of the Reddits that I'm subscribed to is Today I Learned, or maybe it wasn't even in a Today I Learned, but somebody was like, I just had my mind fucking blown because and it must have been somebody. This is so funny because it must have been somebody that listened to this Squadcast because they were like, the guy who played the werewolf in Monster Squad was the same guy who was what referenced it? What are some other roles that he
Uncle
played?
Rico? He was Uncle Rico.
Oh yeah,
in
that's
Napoleon
what everybody
Dynamite.
freaked out about. They're like, the guy who played the werewolf in Monster Squad played Uncle Rico in Napoleon Dynamite, and
Oh,
I don't like the way you're looking at me, Napoleon.
Yeah, and they started quoting a bunch of Napoleon Dynamite, and so but then later on they were like, he was also Laszlo in Real Genius, and then somebody was like, he was Ben Linus's dad on Lost, and trying to find his name, so that I don't.
Carl, that's not right.
Yeah,
that must be the person under the makeup. I hate it when this happens.
Just looking for Laszlo.
Yeah, I know my Monster Squad was.
Or Grice.
Yes.
Gries.
There it is. Yeah.
Because somebody finally linked to his IMDb page, and it's like that guy is in every movie because he is every man. That's he plays every man perfectly. And when you look at his IMDb page, it is ridiculous. He's in so much. Just his known for is Napoleon Dynamite, Men in Black, The Rundown, and Real Genius. Those are the 4 movies that they list. And those range from 85, 2003, 97, and 2004.
Nice.
142 acting credits
Jeez.
he has.
He's so intense in Monster Squad. And in case this is someone's first Long Walk Short Drink, go back a couple episodes, maybe 46. I don't know. We did a Monster Squad episode.
They're going to kill your son.
I know. And he's like, lock me up. It's so awesome.
Fucking outrageous. So, there's a bunch of guys we last year. He plays the everyman. We lost one last year. He was an older guy. He just passed away, and he was another one that played. He's just he's been in so many movies. Harry Dean Stanton.
Oh yeah.
He's just been in so many fucking movies that when you like some of these actors and actresses like this are just they're like comfort food. They're familiar because they're in so many movies. Like this guy has 204 acting credits. That's not even counting the ones that they don't get credits for, right? that they probably just like do because somebody wants to put them in the fucking movie because they're in every fucking movie, you know? Some of these guys, some of these actors and actresses, you just get comfortable seeing them.
Watkins, I wonder what Watkins is. I think he's
Let's
one
see.
of those guys.
To say how many? Oh my God, it must be a billion.
Oh,
he
yeah.
has that thing he said years ago where it's like he always says yes if they ask him.
Yep.
I don't know if that's still true, but
And he has room in his calendar. And
right.
The 132 acting credits for him.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
So-
up there.
yeah.
I mean, I think if you get a career as an actor, to have anything over 50 or 75 even is just like
Impressive.
yeah. I
How
always
many
loved
JCs
his justification for that too is he's like, I'm an actor, this is my job, why would I turn down work, you know? And it's nice to know that he hasn't it's probably not the angle that he's coming from, but I always took that as very endearing. It's like he never forgot where he came from and the hard work it took to get there, you know? So like, it's like somebody that survived the Depression, hiding their money in the backyard, burying their money in the backyard in case the Depression ever came again. It's like, I'm not going to turn down work because I remember being a starving artist, like trying to make it. And then I finally did, you know? So why would I start getting picky and turn down work? Because what if the work dries up then? So
Yeah.
Or you just Keanu Reeves, you take the subway and you just give away all your money and
that
What he
one.
does?
oh man, he's an awesome person. Like,
yeah.
and the more you learn about Keanu Reeves, like he has had a tragic fucking life. Like
Oh, I didn't know that.
for him to be as nice of a person as he is, he lost
His sister, I think, to cancer. Or...
his sister, his wife. They lost a baby. Like they were about to have a baby, and then the baby, she miscarried, and then right around that, or pretty soon after that, the mother of that baby ended up dying. His sister died. Like just tragedy upon tragedy upon tragedy, and he just like always is a nice guy. I was telling Ash, I've seen some photos of him recently, like since the Me Too movement and everything has like took off in Hollywood. Any photos you see of him where fans are like standing side by side, like their arms are around him, you can always see both of his hands in every photo because he's just like, fuck no, not happening. Like, you know, like he's just like, you are not going, like, we're going to make sure that everybody can see where my hands are, you know?
Up
So,
and up here.
yep. So yeah.
That's good to hear. He's a good dude.
Yeah, I'm so fucking excited for Bill and Ted 3 because I've been like him and the other guy, which I don't know
Alex
why.
Winter, is that his name?
That's his name. They both have been working for about the last decade at least trying to get this third movie made. I can remember seeing Alex Winter on a late night show, like Keanu Reeves was on there and they brought Alex Winter out to announce that they were going to make the third Bill and Ted. Like they finally, like they were on board for it and everybody freaked out. That was like 5 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, so
They haven't given up yet.
they have not given up. That's the other thing too, is like they want to make this movie, and which means if they pull it off, like it could be really good. So I'm interested to see how I love both of those movies. I think, the second one is just as good as the first one. I know a lot of people don't like it, but man, is it good.
I've watched, yeah, I mean, of course, like Kickboxer is like all time, just phenomenal movie. As far as if you, I mean, like real Muay Thai fighters, like it's just been inspirational to so many people, whether you're a fighter or not. But of course, you know, 2, they go to Cody, and 3 still Cody. Well, call him Cody from a show he was on.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I can't remember
and,
the character's name.
but I've seen those enough now to where I'm like, they're like watching a B movie, but yeah, I didn't like them at first, and they've kind of grown on me, little tidbits here and there. So
Yeah, no,
Yeah. It's always nice when when the main cast is retained for sequels. That
Yeah.
helps.
Yeah.
You just get to spend more time with the
Absolutely.
dynamic.
well, and that they don't
like-
just scrap the original ones to reboot it. I like sometimes where it's like, okay, well, let's instead of rebooting it, how about we just revisit those characters? Like where have
Yeah,
where
where
are
they
Bill
know.
and Ted after 30 years? You know what I mean?
kind of like Cobra Kai.
yeah, just like Cobra Kai.
Never die.
We got to do the Karate Kai episode when we come.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
that's gotta come
we have
up.
to formalize that calendar deal and stick to it. That's the other thing too. Is like we say we're gonna do it and then we don't. We do something else that happens.
I have watched every episode at least 3 times.
Oh, yeah. Shit.
That's amazing.
I am.
It's really fun.
slacking. Yeah. No. I
It's
have
fun.
to do it. It looks fantastic. I hear nothing but good things about it.
A big good one come back with from the break. You know, you get some time to
Time
watch.
break.
Absolutely, and then we still get Moto 2 episodes in a row. That's my
Yeah.
that's my secret plot.
Hashtag more Moto.
More Moto. Yeah. Moto. Name's so nice. Got to say it twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So one last Squadcast related thing. They have a Patreon page and they're starting to do video casts, which is kind of fun. But so the documentary is called Wolfman's Got Nards, about the phenomenon of Monster Squad
Okay.
that they have made together, and it's currently pretty much only at film festivals, but it did just make a con appearance with them at Denver Comic Con, where Twinkie was volunteering.
That's
So
awesome.
I was hoping. I literally just listened to this episode today, so obviously we was hoping to see Twinkie anyway, which we still might.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd be curious if he saw those guys walking around because they were there.
Oh,
So was Val
that's-
Kilmer.
Oh man, I hope he printed my photo that I gave him for Val Kilmer.
Print out.
Just in case. I mean, you'd hate to not have a photo if you ran into Val Kilmer, right?
Are you pulling it up?
Absolutely.
No, I can't.
It's the one.
It's the
mug shot.
Oh, you don't even have to type more than just his name and it'll come up like here it is, Val Kilmer. Open image in a new tab. Here he is. Good old Val.
Oh, that's intense.
Oh, good old Val.
What is that shirt?
That's a Hawaiian shirt is what that is. And the
I
Aloha
guess,
shirt.
yeah. So Moto, when he shares the screen like that, you can't see it.
Yeah, but last time, that's when I lost you guys. So
Oh, you probably have to
Okay.
like click over or something weird. Yeah.
Okay.
The mobile stuff gets really screwy because I try to do that where we just were going to meet like just to talk. I tried to do kind of this setup here just so we would get a video on my phone. So that way I like the idea of just being able to do a quick conversation without a whole setup,
mhm.
and it will only let me almost like Periscope from my phone. So like I could broadcast me and I could share that URL with other people, but they would interact like they do now. If they go to our YouTube channel, they wouldn't actually be a part of the live stream.
So I wonder if we
could
try to watch the video together, if it won't work for Moto, or if you click over to your
because it will work because it'll play like it's a person, like it's going to play like it's
right, that's right,
like
because
a
that's
member
coming
of the
through something
Hangout.
else.
Yeah.
So
So what I should be able to do is let me cue this up first.
and I'll narrate a little bit and help fill things in, both for Moto who can't see it, but also for our podcast listeners who just hear us and don't see us. Though you can see us, see the episodes on YouTube either as they happen, or these live streams as we're talking now. You can be here with us online, or you can watch when they are uploaded to our YouTube page. Search Long Walk Short Drink on YouTube, and please subscribe and click the bell. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers so we can get our unique URL. We're about halfway there. What was I going to say about? So the clip actually, Van Damme himself sets up what it is. So I'll just sort of cue visual things and clarify some of the English sometimes.
Let me see here. Oh, no, hang on. Keep
vamping.
Yeah.
What else can I tell you? Palmer usually does such a great job of running down like our promotional things. You can get a free audiobook on us if you go to audibletrial.com/LWSD. I am currently listening to Cujo, the Stephen King book, which I am enjoying. I don't know if we'll have a King Corner later, in which I'll talk about it, perhaps. If not, but that's in the audiobook. I don't know. It's narrated by, I'll look that up real quick, but it's a female narrator. She's quite good. And I think it's not necessarily a newer book. But it's the one that's the book Stephen King doesn't remember writing because he was in the sort of deepest part of his alcoholism. So he says he still likes it though. Cujo audiobook. Yes. So go to audibletrial.com/LWSD. You can find Cujo. Listen to that along with me. I still don't know who's narrating it, but what else? You can find us on Twitter. At LWSD Pod, and I post supplementary content from the shows there. And of course, you can find. It would be great if you subscribe on any and all these podcast platforms, whether or not you use them. But if you go to, Google Play, iTunes, which is what now just called podcasts on your Apple phone. Palmer's so much better at this. I'm just like People are like
the laptop updated, stupid fucking Windows updated, and like it killed the way to share the audio stream. So I had to reinstall that real quick in the audio mixer.
That's how long it took me to not even get through all of our shit. That's amazing.
What else did you leave? You subscribe to the podcast on any of the of your favorite streaming service?
Yeah, I talked about YouTube. I talked about
Twitter. Follow us on Twitter at LWSD Pod. What audiobook did you recommend?
I'm listening to Cujo.
Oh man, yeah. No, that's man, is that a good one? Is it the woman from the movie Cujo narrating it?
Oh, see, that's what I was a little bit stuck on trying to figure out who the narrator is.
That's the mom from E.T. is the woman.
Is that who it is? Holy crap.
In the movie, who plays the mom,
which I haven't seen yet. That's one of those things with me and the Stephen King. Somehow I missed it all. Is it? So it's Lorna Raver. Ooh, that doesn't sound like.
No, that doesn't sound like it would be her.
Oh, she narrated As I Lay Dying, which I've actually heard that. Huh. I'd recommend that too. Oh, she married
Wallace is the mom.
Yeah. Okay. That's kind of I can picture. I like this narrator though.
Laura who? Rainier?
Lorna Raver. She's I believe that's who. Well, let me click this sample quick.
Did you put the blankets back?
Yeah, it is her. She doesn't. Yeah, we've talked before about sort of the perils of, I don't know, men doing women's voices or vice versa. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I like the way she's handling this. This text.
I feel like King does a really good job of. His books are always told from a person's perspective, right? And that person, and he has clout, so he can say this book is told from a woman's perspective. I want this woman to read this book, right?
Yeah.
He, for the girl who loved Tom Gordon, randomly, I'm pretty sure she's like the only one that reads. This is the only book that she reads for him. But Anne Heche reads that book, and it's like perfect. It like she reads it like I'm this 10-year-old girl that it just fits for some. Anne Heche's smoky voice somehow fits for this girl. But yeah, no, I totally am with you that It's usually women trying to do man's voices. I can usually look past a man trying to do a woman's voice, but I don't know what it is when a woman tries to do a man's voice. Somehow it throws me off.
It's weird. I think I'm the opposite. I'm finding. I'm not sure
really?
why that is. Yeah, I just don't like that. Like, they raise the pitch and sit. I don't know. For some reason, it bugs me. That bugs me more than the other way around. But that's all right. It takes all kinds.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't do a web. I tried to chat the YouTube link, but I guess you can't do that.
Let me try. I think we can. I think this will work. I'm going to share my screen. I unmuted my mic. So now let's go.
So again, these are the parts of the trainwithvandam.com exercise video series that I completed that made me laugh. They made me laugh out loud when I was trying to work out. So Moto, I hope you can hear this along with us, and certainly it'll be integrated into the podcast later. So it's a little long. Just the first opening couple of minutes here. He just sets up what the series is, and then it gets into the nonsense.
All right, let's see how this goes.
My name is Jean-Claude Van Damme. Lots of people know me, but some may not me. And this
some may not me.
First time I want to give something back to the audience, people who made me. And I want to show you something very unusual. How to train, how to stretch, how to become muscular.
I could swim in those blue eyes.
I've been training since I was 11. I've done martial arts, I've done ballet, I've done weightlifting, I've done stunts. So I've got lots of injuries. And I adapt a way of training, which I believe it's the best for everybody. I'm talking to people from 18 to 85, 95 years old, okay? That's how we're gonna see it, okay? We're gonna create...
You got the high arm strap shirt on. I want one of those.
Yeah, that says JCVD in the corner.
I know. I need my strap shirts where they go up into the armpit like that.
Back is straight, if everything is in order, to touch every sport you want to do. So this is going to be the base of the maintaining the body and this and this and that, okay? If I make some mistakes in English, forgive me because I'm shooting outside the US. I'm in Hong Kong right now, so all my accents are mixed. So I want now to show you how to train in your office or apartment or anywhere you want without weights to start with, okay? And you must follow me very carefully. I may be boring first, but you have no choice. You've got to start first, step by step. Like I did with martial arts, with movies, you've got to start step by steps, okay? So I'm gonna take you step by steps. Even people who have a lots of muscle, those big guys from the gym, you're welcome to my lesson to have a different type of attitude, maintaining, to be strong physically and also strong mentally. Because I've been around the world, I've made lots of mistakes, and I would like to give you some of my opinion about the way of life. Thank you so much. You don't need any weights, like always. I promise you.
This gets into the stuff that makes me laugh.
Without weights.
The blue shoes are great, man.
Not too much headache. And by the time you go to a gym, happened to me before, you come back home, you're tired in the morning. By the time you drive, you park. I'm not selling this lesson. All I'm saying to you, it's a very, very easy way of training without all the headache of the traffic and everything. Not to be tired, arriving to the gym, beep, fuck it. Okay. Let me find something to squat on. We'll say.
That was actually the next moment.
Jeez, there was no cut there. You didn't put that cut.
No, I didn't create that juxtaposition.
Oh, man.
Broom.
This piece of wood to train my legs is that simple. 2 times 10, 3 times, then 4 times 20, 20, 20, then 5 times 50, 50, 50. I guarantee you legs like this. But let's don't go so far, but I'm telling you, that's all I do for my legs, and they are very, very powerful. That's how I look at my legs. So and out. Sometimes I'm having fun, and look at this. I listen to some music at home. I know the position of my body. So I stay in a stand like this, not too low, just halfway. And I do like some stuff like this, because I know my position, not to do now. I go back and forth, and then I stay. I'm tired. I come back. Up, I take a guard. And, you can work like this home and stop in some angle, and, boom, 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 up, go back, boom. Oh, I'm tired. Normally, it's 3 times 8. I can do them again. Let's go.
That's hilarious. That's when he tries not to actually have to do the exercises.
Yeah.
He starts to laugh here. He goes,
5, 6, 7, 8. I was trying to escape. 8. Don't do that fantasy. Okay, next one.
Don't do that fantasy. I don't know. Stay inside your cocoon.
Look at my feet. And we go. Next one. Shoo. Straight. 1, 2, 3. Don't show your suffering. 5.
Don't show your suffering. It's scary.
Try.
Wow.
Up. Try.
This one got me.
Up. Try. Wow. Come back. Okay. The kick is coming. Okay.
Kick is coming.
Next one. Almost touching the floor. The neck. And 8.
Oh.
Very good, guys. Truly. Let's move on. If it's too heavy the first or second time, do without weight, okay? Not a problem. Now,
He does got some guns. I'll give him that.
come out of frame, and I'm coming back into frame like in JCVD was a finish shot. I feel like weights today. I can start with a bottle, then I feel like weights. One day I'm tired. You have to listen to your body, okay? Because if you start to go like, oh, I'm gonna go by the way to turn. It's okay.
Dave, you got to make your hair that color.
No,
Yes.
it's supposed to go.
You have the JCVD cut. Now you need it that color. Oh, man. He just had Giuliani eyes. Did you see that?
He did like a crazy face here. Like, I got to do my training, my program. No, you got to listen to your buddy, and your buddy will listen to you.
Let's go. Up, turn, 1, touch. Yeah.
It's almost fascinating. It's almost as fascinating to watch you and Moto react. To this.
Oh, there he's just like, when you have to do another set, he's like, that's life. Watch this now. He sets down the weights, he does these little rests, and then he does that with his body.
Oh. Is he flexing his shoulders?
He's standing up straight. He's got a lot about alignment. He's like,
Got it.
Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4,
sometimes I just start talking weird. I thought it was funny.
6,
He's sweating a lot.
Oh, yeah.
8. Okay.
Sweating like a whore in church.
Yeah. These noises now. Oh, no. But he was going like...
Imagine I've been walking.
Like
I
that?
sweat.
Walking like that?
Oh, yeah. And I sweat.
There he checks himself out in the mirror.
I make her carry a mirror just so I can do that on our walk. Hold it up. I cannot see myself.
Yeah. That must
Did
give
I show
her a
you
good
pain?
workout.
That's scary.
Yeah, it's scary.
With me? Me too.
Does he try to get out of the exercises in all of them? Like,
No, he just did it that one time. But there he's just like, I don't know. He just kind of lost his train and kind of cracked up. Here he's talking about how he's been doing this for 6 years.
It's very strong, powerful.
Very powerful.
It's my brew.
Oh, this is hilarious.
I know. I got something for the rooms. 5, 6. Smile.
he's got something for the what?
For the brooms.
8.
Yeah. Oh, this guy's hilarious. Listen closely here.
One more?
One more today. I want more.
One more. Okay. One more. Start to piss me out now. Well, I've got one more move.
Starting to piss me off.
I'm thinking
This one's great too. He just told that girl, he's like, I got one more move for your breasts. It's gonna be amazing.
if I
The
have
push-ups between the chairs. Oh, here we go. This is fucked up.
of a door, if I slam a door non-stop, the door will not break. But
Wait for
sooner or
it.
later, the hinges of that door will break. One day I was kidnapped in Moscow. And
Just like pops off with this.
break a door. And I was stuck in a corridor. And they came down staircase. I smelled a rat. Didn't go for the door, but the was taken away. How you call that? The what? The clutch. Whatever it is to close the door was gone. It was like a hole. I ran back, but the door was in metal. And I said to myself, it's over for me. I didn't have any phone to call my wife, and my desire was to call my wife more than anything else because that's it, they're gonna come and I'm over. So I ran in that corridor and I felt like I'm gonna break my foot, my leg, my bone's gonna come out, my tibia. I felt that way. But my head was outside that door and I run and I jump in the air and I did that maigeri in Japanese, that, like front kick in the air. The door didn't break. What happened, the inches, they blow out of the wall and inside, those so-called driver, they were so surprised, they took the teaser, some more people came in, I didn't fight. Too many people, I run. By the way, it's a good tips for self-defense. When you see 6-7 people, no matter what, except a gun, you have to be careful. It's time to run if you have the possibility of running. But that kick, that power, that will saved my life. Today I'm not with the pigs being eaten and my teeth somewhere in the lake. I will talk to you soon.
Jesus Christ.
Thank you.
That was it. That was the end of that lesson. He just pops off with like, one time I was kidnapped in Moscow and I had to break a door down and save my life.
And you gotta run.
I guess.
Holy
Thank you. Thank you for listening to all that. And in the time that it took Jean-Claude to tell that last story, we got Double D now.
Double D. Welcome, sir.
Good evening, boys. I didn't.
Can't see you, but hopefully I will here soon.
So yeah, I didn't want to interrupt JC and me. Kicking around a couple names. I think JCVD and Me is for guys that don't know JC as well as you know JC.
Yeah.
Not like I do.
Yeah, I think we can trim that quite a bit, that title, but
I didn't know that story though. Oh goodness. Well, so there you go. But now the gang's almost all here, but Double D has joined us. I'm so glad you did. What is happening, sir? How have you been?
oh man, been loving life, living the dream. No complaints.
Enjoying summer?
Oh, having a great time. If only, oh man, if only everything in life would just kind of wrap itself up nice and neat, that'd be a lot better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man.
There he is. I can see you now. All right.
Oh, there he is.
Absolutely. It's good to see you, buddy. We got Double D 2 episodes in a row. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Double
Like
D
that.
back to back. It's like
Back to back.
D. It's like quad D.
Quad D.
And I guess with
very
three other
thoughtful.
guys on the podcast, it kind of is, I guess, right?
Could maybe say it's double impact.
That may be a little too much D, but oh well.
There's
Yeah.
never too much D.
A lot of
That's what she said.
There it is.
Here's the thing at the beginning about is the asalingus or whatever you called it?
Analingus. Asalingus is exactly what I'm going to call it, though, from now on.
I want to call the episode that.
Yeah, episode 50, Asalingus. Well, I can't wait to use that one on Ash. So you want to try some Asalingus tonight? Oh man, Double D. You missed the whole analingus conversation.
Yeah, I was catching a little bit of it earlier. I don't know if you noticed, you had a few a random viewer popping in and out. That was me earlier, so I was trying to get some stuff accomplished, and I could put you on my had you in my ears for a little bit before I could actually get on cam with you.
Yeah, no problem. I did see that. We were up to 3 and then we dropped down to 2. We're at 1 right now. If it's the same viewer we've had 1 consistently pretty much the whole show. So thanks for watching, whoever you are. Man, fantastic. And I'm still holding out. We could see a Twinkie in here too. So
I've got to say, one of the things keeping me busy, or I've been staying actively mentally engaged, going back through some of the earlier podcast episodes, and man, Long Walk Short Drink has come a long way.
Oh yeah,
from those early episodes.
Like how?
Not to discourage any of you new listeners, this is your first podcast. You've missed a lot of great episodes. You're gonna want to go back and check about the first 49, I'm sure. But
the 182 hours of it.
Exactly.
The Double D's been through 8 times.
It's just so funny hearing some of the you and Dave used to spitball a lot more podcast episode potentials.
Oh yeah.
Early, like, oh, that'd be a great show. Oh, that'd be a great show. Oh, that'd be a great show. And some of them you've touched on. Some of them are still kind of floating out there. Spaceballs, I don't know how that's still.
Yeah,
I don't know how that happened.
That should be a Long Short Drink remembers episode for sure.
Oh man, that's almost
great.
For me, I at least it was definitely as prevalent as Star Wars was in my childhood. Like once it was released,
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, like one of my best friends, and I had 2 really, really close friends growing up. One of them, of course.
Yeah.
Sumo, and then another kid, Eric. He and I were best friends, and when we would spend like all summer, I'd spend the night at his house. Like I just lived there. It's like they had another son. And this was way back like in elementary school. We're talking like 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade, that kind of stuff. And like Spaceballs was it. Like that was our go-to. Man, same thing with Sumo. We would watch Spaceballs, and here's a movie that I haven't had to type up yet. Do you guys remember The Disorderlies? Did any of you watch The Disorderlies?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, that was a huge go-to for me. Like I've probably seen that 20 times.
That's the Fat Boys in that,
The
right?
Fat Boys, absolutely.
And then isn't the antagonist in that is the guy from the Twisted Sister videos, and he was he's like the bad guy in like a few of those. He plays that same character almost,
right,
in a handful of 80s movies, including the Twisted Sister videos.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you want to do with your life?
Yeah, that guy.
Because,
Which, just a slight sidebar, just since I brought it up, there's a Twisted Sister documentary. It is the most amazing one of the most amazing music documentaries I've ever watched.
Really?
Yeah.
wow.
Moto and I are suckers for those. What's it called?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find the name of that. We can go back to Spaceballs while I look for it. Or Disorderlies while we I can't believe, holy shit, I never thought to talk about Disorderlies. Like, there's a thing, like, I've mentioned plenty of times that HBO was what like my mom splurged on, and part of that was just because she knew that it would keep I would watch movies, and so that was a summer one that there was like a string of summers that they would just you would know it was summertime because Disorderlies was on the TV.
Yeah,
man, you remember your uncle where he like took this for his diabetes, and like he lifts off all this and then one day he's just like, I'm going to stop taking everything. And then he felt good. Well, maybe that'll happen here. Oh, man. Forever.
I don't know that movie. I'll have to write that one down too.
Go ahead.
I haven't seen it in a while. Yeah, write it down. I haven't seen it in a while. I am going to go out on a limb and say it will not age well.
Probably not.
I've got a funny feeling if you come into that in your mid to late 30s, that will not be as enjoyable as if you're in your mid to early teens.
Just FYI, it stars the Fat Boys, if you remember.
Right.
The rappers, the Fat Boys.
Right.
Oh, I don't really remember that either. So
as actors.
As actors.
They're starting to come back.
At the beginning of the decline of their career as rappers.
Right.
Oh boy.
Right.
Oh, that's what
They've got some great beatboxing and some mad hip hop going throughout. It's
kind of like Vanilla Ice and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
yeah.
Go ninja, go
Exactly.
ninja, go. Go ninja, go ninja, go. Ninja, rap, ninja.
Because we're just gonna. Oh, it's so awesome. The name of the that Twisted Sister documentary is this is why I had to look it up. We Are Twisted Fucking Sister. That's the name of it.
Oh, nice. And what did you watch it on? Like which platform?
Netflix.
Okay, great.
So it looks like it is on Netflix,
Cool.
and it will make you it will just make you appreciate how hard they worked and how we've talked about. I know, Dave, you've talked about your in Moto 2, your like trials and tribulations with trying to like be an independent music artist, and just how you're not going to get any recognition until you've done all the hard work yourself, right? And this is a great example of where that was starting to the music industry was starting to shift to that was pretty much their only way that you would get signed is if you had already done all that legwork. And so
You're already established.
you're already
"Oh, yeah,
established. And
we
so
can use that."
in this
Use
documentary,
you.
you find out like Twisted Sister, like they had like they were a tri-state following. Like they were just huge. They were selling out. They were being pegged to support headliners and because they would bring a bigger crowd than the headliner coming into this area. You know what I mean? Like, and so, and there was finally this executive at one of the the studio or the record labels that was just like, why don't we have a fucking contract? Like, why aren't these guys selling records for us? And he worked for like 7 years trying to convince, like, he's like, I finally had a CEO, like the CEO of the American division. I had a meeting with him, and the first words out of his mouth were, if you bring up Twisted Sister, you're fired. Because
Wow.
it like pushed it so much. And then he like weaseled in. There was like some merger happened, and he was able to weasel a deal in finally for this group. And like, but it just shows how hard they worked, like, to make this happen. And like, they do a show over in Britain. They got booked for this show in Britain when they're finally starting to break. And like the glam hair metal scene had not hit Britain yet. And they were over there trying to put it out like in their full makeup. And
Yeah,
like,
they're
you know, like
outrageous. Yeah.
and like and it was a punk show, and they're dressed as like Twisted Sister, right?
Oh wow.
And like, so D. Snyder did something that he had never done on stage up to that point. Like he got a towel and he's like, he scrubbed his makeup off and he's like, I'll do this just because I want you to hear our music. And like by the end of that show, he like won the crowd over. Like
Wow.
like, but he was like willing to compromise their act, like what their shtick was, because he believed so much in the music. It was just, it's a great documentary. And it will
He's
make
hardcore,
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh
it's
man.
like when the what was it? The parental advisory. He was on
Yep.
the board for that.
Yep, that brought him and John Denver together, right? Like,
I didn't know that.
yeah, because John Denver was against it just as much as Dee Snider was, like that kind of labeling and sensory. So like they kind of became allies, like working towards getting away from that. So
like they weren't gonna take it anymore.
We're not gonna take.
No, they weren't going to take it.
Not anymore.
No,
they're not going to take it anymore.
Not in the back anymore. Is that what?
no.
Because I don't do that anymore either.
Well, sometimes. I don't want to put a declarative on anything. You know, at the moment, I don't do that.
Yeah, Moto. I think we just need to leave that. Just not. We just send listeners back to our Star Wars episode.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The best thing was his face. He just kind of looked at me like, "Did you just say that?" You know, like. I was like, yeah. Wow. I said it.
Classic.
So I've had a lot to say about JCVD mostly, but I know a lot has been going on with at least two of you. So someone fill me in on the happenings of since we last spoke. Any of the three of you want to roll a dice? Want to rock paper scissors?
Not me. I'm saying not it.
Not it.
Yeah.
Let's get double D while he's on. Keep it fun here.
Man, like I said, I'm just been kind of going back and enjoying the previous episodes of Long Walk.
Cool.
I'll say that it's I mean, everything about, I think the earlier episodes of Long Walk, like as you've gone, I think that the episodes have become a lot more fun. And then not to take anything away from the earlier episode, but good Lord, this is 50 episodes that you guys have done. And I think your first 15 episodes were like, oh my gosh, just so hardcore, like heart open.
Oh yeah.
Just emotionally draining. Like you an episode and at the end you're like, man, this is just tearing at me. And I mean everything, like all the stuff that Palmer went through, and then and just all your stories and your support, Dave, and your butt troubles, and it's all just out there.
Harrowing stuff. That shit was harrowing, literally.
Harrowing, yeah.
But it's just so neat to kind of feel to have gone through this whole journey with you guys, and just how the power of communication and what we're able to do in this digital age, getting to know Dave, whom I would have never been able to. I mean, take away this podcast, and I don't know Dave. I mean, I may, at some point in time, Palmer may have shared a story about Dave, and I said, oh, he seems like a cool guy, but to be able to, to shake your hand and to talk and get to know you on such a different level than I would have never been able to do otherwise. Going back and listening to those old episodes, just so much fun. Even though it is very emotionally intense for a lot of it, but I love them too. So it's just it's neat to see how much Long Walk has grown in what seems like a short time. I mean, it's 50 episodes.
50 episodes though. That's more than the both iterations of WPLMR combined. If you were to put all those episodes together, it's more episodes. I think even if you add mine to Philip Palmer's picks, both versions of WPLMR, we wouldn't have hit 50 episodes, 50 things made. And this has got that longevity.
Through technology, otherwise, because it was WCTV before. And
oh, yeah.
Or the water guy put some water on Dave's camera and the crow's on the halt, and I don't know who that could have been, but
I think that was my own fault.
The technology, this technology definitely makes it easier. That's for sure.
I have a real quick thing. Like an audio guy I follow. It's Produced Like a Pro, and he makes a joke about himself. just the title of the YouTube show. But he's been doing a lot more live broadcasting, at least, once or twice a week. And they're about an hour and a half. And the guy's just full of information. He's worked with Aerosmith, The Fray, and Latin, all kinds of people. But he talks about the old days of YouTube, and he really enjoys, he feels like, the live YouTube is kind of making a resurgence, and it reminds him of the older days. And he just likes that interaction of being able to chat, and the group mentality of all over the world, people all over the world getting to chime in. And so it's cool. We're kind of on that place too.
Yeah. With our whole 0 viewers right now. I want to say that 0 was like Twinkie was that one diehard, and he's like rushing to get set up now that DC's D on and everything,
Yeah. A lot of times Moto is joining us on those chats, and so it's nice to have you on mic.
Oh yeah, and then I don't have to show my stupid face. I finally got a account where I could chat. The other one wouldn't let me chat, so I figured that out. And
weird. Well, and the chats are hard because I have to go to I have to actually load on if I share my screen, so you can see this. So this is my window that has my chat, the Hangout in it, right? And then this one I have to have open. So, and this is where your chats, like when you're just watching the live stream, show up on this window. There's no way for me inside the Hangout to see those chats. So then what I do is, that's why I have the Hangout as a separate video or a separate window, is because I'll keep that behind it so that when I hopefully will see a chat, but what happens is it gets buried or it gets unclicked, or I go to a different tab, because I want to.
Val Kilmer.
Val Kilmer. And I will not see those chats. That's why, like 20 minutes after the fact, you'll hear me be like, "Oh, Moto said on here," because I just happened to bring that tab back up and see that there was like 7 chats that touched on things that we were already like 40 minutes away from talking about all the time.
Still helps me feel like I'm involved.
Absolutely. No, I absolutely love it. That's I highly recommend any of our listeners, like if you're ever taking advantage of that, of the live stream recordings, watching us live, where you can get the whole conversations. We do those while we're recording, and then Dave trims those down, and that's what the actual podcast episodes end up being. If you take advantage of those live recordings, please, we'd love to hear from you in those chats, even if you're a troll, because we want to hear from you too.
Wait, Palmer, turn your camera back on.
Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
geez. Sorry about
By the way, I don't know, I didn't catch exactly what it was, but we're always basically 40 minutes away from whatever we're trying to say.
Yes.
Yeah. 37 minutes.
That's a
but
great tagline. We're 40 minutes away from what we're trying to say. We're always 40 minutes away from what we're trying to say. Oh, that is a great tagline. Oh shit.
Yeah. I will say that's a lot of fun. A lot of the early episodes, you start talking, you're like, oh man, we got to wrap this up in a half an hour, and you look at the little queue on the bottom of whatever it is you're using to listen to it, iTunes or whatever, and there's an hour and 42 minutes left, and you're like, wait, what? Like we gotta wrap this up in a half an hour. We've only got a half an hour left, and there's an hour and 42 left and you're already an hour and 18 minutes in.
Yep.
Always 40 minutes away from what we want to say.
That's perfect.
So that's definitely that's long walk short drink stuff. Double D. Anything Double D world wise that you want to share to catch us up? We didn't really get a chance to catch up with you a ton during the solo episode because the same deal. You kind of popped in late, and we were just getting ready to start talking solo.
Right.
It was like perfect timing, so we didn't really get to catch up with you as much as we did with Twinkie. Any double D world stuff you want to share?
Man, that is a. I don't know how much time do we have left in the episode.
It's long walk, short drink. We're at least 40 minutes away from getting to the end. So.
40 minutes and $250.
Yeah, and $250. But yeah, anything you want to share though?
Wow, there's so much going on. That would be its own episode and a half probably. I will do a short walk here. Is that we have a pool at our house that we absolutely love and enjoy in the summertime when we spend the vast majority of time in our pool, and it had some maintenance issues, so we decided to do it right, fix it right, and we had a great company come in, and that was in March when they started it, and we are not swimming yet, and our who knows how long away from swimming.
Oh my God. And they get because the last time Ash and I saw you and your beautiful bride
yes
was about a week out from Memorial Day, and
right.
you had been promised that your pool you would be swimming on Memorial Day.
Right. And haven't seen them since. We still haven't seen them. When you were here the week before Memorial Day, it looks identical.
Oh man.
So we are struggling with that, and thankfully with no global warming, so the temperatures and all that other stuff hasn't been 100. But I know that's not global warming for all of you science haters out there that are listening to the podcast. I know it's climate, it's not just the day-to-day thing, and we've had an exceptionally hot summer already. And to just sit there and look at a concrete hole in the backyard, it's not been fun. So
yeah, and trying to entertain kids that are used to that, and exactly. Oh man, that's
terrible.
Thankfully, our kids are amazing.
Yeah,
they are just. They're spectacular. They're reading books right now currently.
Awesome.
We'll have to do bedtime here pretty soon, but they are.
You have quite a few kids, don't you? I don't remember how, but I stumbled across something that I don't want to. Some sort of internet account, and it was a family picture. I'm like, wow.
Yeah. They're 17, so.
I didn't want to say, but I didn't know how many you wanted to claim.
Yeah, I'll claim all 17. It's fine.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I'll throw
don't even fit in the pool.
Yeah. I'll throw Shamrock on his as he's kind of digging for information and finding out where I live and all that stuff. And that 17 kids might throw him off the scent for a little bit.
Oh yeah. Oh no, that's Pumps. Pumps has he's got all the files on his entire neighborhood. So.
Yeah. You can keep track.
Dude, I'm just telling you right now, Double D, that file is already created. He already knows you're lying.
Lock there. I know. He's got me down. I got it.
Oh, there's a chat from Pumps. No,
yeah. Just kidding. I have 3 texts. Your phone might go off, Double D. I didn't even give him your number. Yeah.
I didn't give him your number, but he must have found it.
No, wait, my phone's off. Holy shit. Yeah, no, that's exactly how that goes down. There's a false wall in his closet that goes to his war wall, with all of his neighborhood on it. He's always like,
pins.
You were in the closet again, weren't you? No, I wasn't in the closet. I know you were in the closet. This is a big contention.
I exchanged. I don't want to derail this. This is a kind of a standalone thing. But I exchanged some Pumps texts this week that just started out with. Let me see. Oh my God, this much longer. I won't go see where it goes, but it says, yeah. So this is 5 days ago, 8:34 a.m. The walls of my cubicle. So this is out of nowhere. The walls of my cubicle are approximately 5 feet tall. Lewis, the 53-year-old, he's got some descriptive network engineer, walked over to the entrance of my cube with a piece of cardboard in his hand, puts it on top of the cubicle wall, then just stood there, looking me straight in the eyes. "What's up?" I said. Bear in mind, we did not even exchange a greeting, despite walking all the way from the parking deck, quote, together, in parentheses. He walked 3 feet behind me the entire way. So Bump says, "What's up?" Lewis smirked. He took a deep breath, then fucking high kicked the piece of cardboard off the top of the cubicle.
Holy shit.
"What the hell, Lewis?" I shouted. He bent down, picked up the cardboard, and did it again.
He's auditioning for one of Dave's movies.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Quote.
No.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. He said this as by way of an audition. Or remaking A Dying Breed. Lewis.
Or Impact.
Impact. Yeah. Finally producing the unfinished script.
Yeah.
Okay. So he bent down and kicked it again. Quote, "I'm just loosening up for the day. I always get loose in the morning." End quote. No, he doesn't always come in and get loose in the morning. He shuffles in and typically returns a "hello, Lewis" with a barely audible grunt of begrudging acknowledgement. So either there's a kumite nearby that I'm aware of, or I'm going to be involved in an impromptu kumite in the basement of the Material Science and Engineer building. That was how he opened.
Man. Oh. I pumps his elbows, pumps his knees. He's basically Tom Poe. He's just gonna rain it down.
Dolph Lundgren. He's pretty much Dolph Lundgren.
Yes. Yeah. I was exchanging texts with Pumps earlier today, actually, too, and Pumps and Logan both, because we had sent out a bunch of Happy Father's Day videos to father. Like we like to record videos for people when it's their birthday or whatever, and send those out. And
it's more personal.
Yeah, and so on big days like that, we'll send them out, and we'll usually, like for Father's Day, we'll record like a video and then send that out to all the fathers, right? And so I sent that to, I just happened to be going down and I saw a thread with Logan and Pumps on it, and just sent that video to him. Well, today Logan replies, he's like, "So something happened with my phone, and I just had like 80 text messages all came in all at one time."
Whoa.
So thanks for the video. Like today, right? So thanks for that video. And Pumps replied to that. I was working in the shop and didn't hear any of these going off. So I had like this whole thread was already created by the time I saw it. But Pumps replied to that where he was like his response was,
"Black Widow
got me an hour in a sensory deprivation tank." And then it was them that was his Father's Day present. And then that they were exchanging talking about that, and I'm just like, first off, could you imagine the size of that fucking sensory deprivation tank would have to be for Pumps to be able to lay in that and float and not touch it? Because you can't touch anything because that's a sense, right? Like you're supposed to just kind of float in the middle of it. So that thing had to have been huge. And then have you ever seen the movie Altered States? Anybody?
Oh, I only know of it. I've never actually seen it.
Oh man, you would know the box art for sure because it's it's a pretty like apparent when you see the box art, you're like, "Yep, I know that movie." All right, I've seen that box art before. But it's about a man who takes peyote and then or some hallucinogen like that, and then goes in a sensory deprivation tank and literally devolves back to like primitive man. Like he's able to and then comes out of the sensory deprivation tank. And I'm just like, I sent that cover art to them, and I was like, "Have you ever seen this movie? Because this is all I can fucking picture is happening if you're in a sensory deprivation tank." Man.
Do not Google image search that unless you're wearing dark socks. About shit my pants. Like there's some fucked up like stills from the movie that come up. Oh my God. Yeah. I guess from the movie. Unless that's maybe just searching Altered States. But but that was the cover I thought of. Yeah. Oh, I gotta close that. That is disturbing. But he eventually then sent me a bunch of pictures and sort of threads about his kid that was just, I was dying. I literally saved all these pictures to my phone. And somebody grabbed my phone and stole it. They'd be like, "Who is this child? Why is he so cool?" Anyway, sorry. Double D was sharing about his life, and I'm like, let me tell you about our buddy.
No, that sounds much more engaging and exciting, to be honest.
Have you? Yeah. I mean, I know you've called them, obviously.
Oh my gosh, we can't.
What's their excuses? Like, what are they saying is the reason for all this?
Oh, the weather. Like, it's been raining so much, and Essentially,
That was the spring.
My guess is that they have commercial jobs, and so and I get it too. If I'm in business for myself and I'm living based on the jobs that I get, if I don't have a whole lot going on and I take a residential pool and then I get a commercial job that's $500,000, what's going to take precedent? Like, what are your priorities going to be? Well, I'm putting food on the table. I'm going to go work that commercial job and get that done. So that's.
But if you're a good businessman, then you don't take the little job. Then you don't commit to the little job.
Yeah. Exactly.
So
well, and you shouldn't be considered the little job. It should be
that too,
just the same as another job. But
yep.
But reality
that's
is
sad.
Everybody's money is the same color, right? So
yeah, but if you're getting 40 times as much by doing that job, then
yeah, I mean, I know the business justification for it doesn't mean it's fucking right though.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah, that's kind of. I'm just talking moral Al.
Ah.
But
yeah.
It's hopefully they can get that squared away without legal matters, because that's fucked up.
Yeah, that is fucked up.
Yeah. So that's what's going on. Once we get the pool going, we'll be smooth sailing.
Long walk, short drink in the pool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smooth sailing, but not for very far. Yeah, just to the end of the diving board and then back. And it's really will be smooth, but
well, it's hard to turn the ship around.
It really
takes a long time.
It takes a long time to turn the ship around.
If we someday, I hope we could have a line of shirts, and it's like that could be one, just like this ship in mid turning around with no explanation. Just this long short drink.
Well, we will have a line of shirts. I told you I want the one where it's just like it just says long walk, short drink, long walk, short drink, and then the eyes wrap all the way around, and the ink ends on the back because it's like short drink. ... Yeah. ... Yeah.
Oh, I thought, and then we'll get there eventually. It's on the
Oh
back
yeah,
side.
yeah, and then we'll get there eventually. Yeah. All that. That would be fucking awesome. I like that one.
And Double D, you see my old school Palmer's Picks T-shirt here.
Yeah, and I like the cupping too. That's pretty hot. For those of you who have not watched the video of this, you're gonna need to pull this up on YouTube. Show that one more time, Dave.
Yeah.
You gotta talk. It doesn't work otherwise. Come on.
Oh yeah, I have to talk while I touch my. I've got one more move for your breast. It's gonna be amazing. Yeah.
That's a spectacular shirt.
Thank you.
There was what's on the back? Show me the back again.
It's the same thing as this thing on the front,
but
it's large.
but it's just bigger. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that is
beautiful.
It's the only not the only. There was a U2 Joshua Tree logo shirt that Marv made, but I don't have a Steve shirt. I don't have an Enormity shirt. I don't have a Circle of Willis shirt. These are all sort of, two of those are Moto bands, and
that's right, yeah.
And one is Steve, of course. Sad.
That is sad stuff, but
I've got this one.
Hey, they happened. It happened.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on with me. Hopefully we'll be swimming soon and loving life again. And I'm still loving life currently. But yeah, it'd be a lot nicer if it was in the pool. So,
yes, I understand.
All right, I will be back momentarily, hopefully. So I'll kill my camera and mute my mic. But I'm not sure who's next. If it's Palmer or if Moto's drawn the short straw to get in there.
Well, I just feel like the last 7 episodes have been like Palmer. Like Palmer's working this out. So, and we haven't heard from you guys in so long. Moto's next. He's got to be next.
I'm ready.
Are you ready?
Are you ready? Are you ready? What's that song that starts with that?
Ready.
Was like, are you ready?
Oh, I don't know. I was doing Bloodsport, of course.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, you got a head like a rock.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if you guys remember. I kind of referred back to the first time I had mentioned it was on the podcast, I think, where we were just talking. And I'm like, man, I had this, and I was doing some recording and things, but I was having these episodes where I was waking up in the middle of the night and having trouble breathing, sweating real hard. As of course, this is like, I'm having a fucking heart attack, which never happened. But so it was back in September. Well, it was September of last year. I started with the AFib. Remember, that's when I kind of backed off the audio editing and things. It was just, I was, concerned about being able to follow through and what was going on. Healthcare wasn't, I wasn't ready for that sort of stuff. So, about a month ago, I guess, was when we'll call them night terrors. Because, some of them are terrifying, but those have been happening more the past couple of weeks. Well, weeks ago, and it was just it was getting really bad. It was becoming more often, and it was just killing me, like not getting sleep and then trying to go to work and try to be normal. So I was burning a candle at both ends, sort of thing. And I finally got health insurance, and so I went to the doctor. Thankfully, it got in pretty quick, and same deal. It's like emergency room with you for like 9 months. And I just learned to live
back
with
up a little bit there. That it broke up when you said emergency room. It's very dramatic.
Yeah, that's what they told me. The same, back in September, they're like, you're an AFib. You need to go get your heart restarted, and it was emergency. So I was like,
AFib? It's an irregular heartbeat.
Yeah, it's an irregular heartbeat. A lot of people deal with it. But instead of your heart functioning, do-do, 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 it kind of misses beats, and then it'll try to catch up. So it doesn't pump your heart. The ejection fraction rate it's not efficient. So I knew I had a problem, let it go for 9 months, and got some health insurance, was able to go back. Same thing. But this time, my beats per minute was 171. So it was 155 the first time, but so they're like, emergency room with you. And since I had coverage, I'm like, okay, I'll go this time. And turns out I really fucked myself up pretty bad. Just not getting that attended to, and then continuing to live the way I was, which was, it's easy for me to drink 6 beers, and it was easy for me to drink more. I just what I did, part of habit and just what I did. But they say the combination of those two things, it took my heart. I'm still in heart failure.
Wow.
So like
oh my God.
The
what does that mean?
Yeah, the definition of that means that my heart's not supplying my organs with enough oxygen-rich blood. I don't know if it's oxygen-rich blood or just enough blood in general, but so yeah, my ejection fraction rate is down to 20%.
Wow.
Which is considered heart failure. So they basically said, if you keep drinking, you're gonna die.
Wow.
So, when they give you an ultimatum like that, it's unless
Pretty
you want to die. Yeah, well, I think it's kind of easier to make that choice because it's not much of a choice.
Right.
So, yeah, I all in all, I spent a week in the hospital, or 6 days, but felt like a week.
Man, that's a week, buddy.
Yeah.
Jeez, I did not know you were in there that long. Man.
Well, I mean, what's anybody gonna do? Like JC's like, I'm getting kidnapped in Moscow. I want to call my wife. I'm like, what is she gonna do for you? I guess he wanted to say goodbye.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, it's like, so I don't, till, I still haven't told Chubbs, and Chubbs is a good friend.
Yeah.
It's just
Oh,
like,
I
what
didn't
can
know
you do
that.
about it? It's like, I mean, it's the
Be
doctors and me.
supportive and
Yeah. Well, I don't want, people overly concerned that can't be there. It's
Sure.
like, so
okay,
yeah,
so that's the situation. So let's look forward. So
Yeah.
what's the future hold? Like how are we going to keep Moto in like with us so that we can make sure Moto's on episode 100 and episode 500 and episode 1000?
I just gotta get my weight down, which is going to be easy, I think, with not having so much liquid beer.
Yeah.
Actually, like, I don't know if Double D heard, but yeah, I can't drink anymore. They said I'll die.
Yeah.
Man.
So, but that's, like I said, when they give you an ultimatum like that, you either jump or you don't. So
You got it.
Right.
You got it.
So I'm on like a lot of medication, like 8 pills or something in the morning and 3 at night, and gotta avoid all stimulants, and hopefully within a couple of months they can get me off some of these medicines. And it's the weight on my organs and the fluid on my heart and all that stuff. So that was quite the scare, my first hospital stay, and hopefully my last for quite a while. And to see and want to do the right thing so I can get back to normal. They said with my age, and if I do the right things, I can make a full recovery. They believe,
like turning around, right? Which
Yep.
I mean, man, anything that I know you don't like thinking like this, but if there is anything though that of course that we can do, I hope you share that, and I hope you ask for it, because you don't have to do this. Like,
appreciate it.
Like, I can tell you from somebody that struggled with weight their entire life, I hope it's as easy as you think that it's going to be. But if it's not, just know that we're here to support you through that stuff.
Hey, man, I appreciate it. I looked forward to coming on today, and just, it's not hard for me to, like, not like coming home and like, oh, it's a different environment. You're going to want to drink or something. It's like, no, I don't. And, the only thing is that, like, at work, I used to chew. Today, I just got home, but, I sat mostly in the truck, filled out bills, and we're just my boss is helping me catch up and keep on schedule and stuff. So, but it was good to get out there, and I got fucking real tired real quick, but I just need to make some new habits and ready to do that, and fucking, just feel better and keep moving forward. I mean, when I was in the hospital, I'm thinking about audio projects that I haven't finished, and just, just things you want to get to and don't want to miss out on. So
absolutely. And I don't know, any of those things that you can just like find for motivation are totally worth it. One of the things that finally pushed me over the edge to quitting smoking was when I was having bronchitis regularly twice a year, every time the weather would really change. So when the fall would really switch over to winter, and when winter would switch over to spring, both those times I would get bronchitis. And and got to the point where it'd be like, just give me the fucking week's worth of antibiotics to knock out the bronchitis, and then I'll be done. And then in 4 months, I'll get the next round, and then we'll be okay. And I finally it just was a fluke. I went to the grocery store doctor, like the little clinic at Kroger, and because I couldn't get into my regular doctor. And she just like offhandedly was like, you say you get this like twice a year? I'm like, yep, every fall and spring. And she's just like, that's an early sign of COPD. And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, that's emphysema. And I'm like, shit. Yeah. And I'm just like, holy shit, like,
Yeah.
I'm too fucking young for early stages of emphysema, right? And no matter how much I love doing this thing, I tell myself, no matter how much I love doing this thing, like, it's not worth having fucking emphysema at 30, right? In your 30s, right? Like, fuck that.
You kind of reach that decision where it's like, what's more important to you? And
right.
It's
Oh,
you froze for a second.
yeah. Moto.
Sorry, what were you saying?
You get that.
I was just saying, if when in this case, your health and your future and things that you'd like to do in the future, if those things are more important than smoking, it's like it's gonna, you'll make it a priority.
Yeah, it just makes it easier.
Yeah, I can, and I went hard in the yard. I remember telling Double D on our trip, I was like, I don't know. And it's kind of a self-defense mechanism of just like, I was like, and they're telling me in the hospital, like, well, you're going to have to change your friends. And it's like, well, I'm kind of like George Thorogood, where I just kind of drink alone. and I was talking about kind of secluding myself and, even kind of myself being fat, like staying away from relationships. Well, not just like with dudes, because dudes don't care, but girls do.
Right.
And I was like, just kind of, do this. Yeah, they still staying away from that. But I mean, girls still for me. And anyways, I was kind of alluding to, like, and kind of admitting it's a part of it. And he's like, that's no way to live. It's like, he's just, and he's right. So I'm ready to get healthy, get some more positive things going, and not just sit on a couch and drink beer.
Fucking A right, man.
Did they give you, I mean, obviously we're part of your support system, but having spent so much time isolating and stuff, did they give you like tools when you're leaving? Like, here's some things you can do and here's ways you can stay on that path? Or they're just like, if you drink, you die. See you later.
Oh yeah. And actually, I mean, the pulmonary guy, well, cause I'm short of breath, but that was weight in my lungs and shit. I mean, weight in my heart and all that stuff. That's what I believe. He basically said I was allergic to marijuana, and it's like, whatever. That's medicine here in Ohio anymore. But of course, street drugs and what you get from true supplier is going to be different. But he basically came down to that. I mean, at first I'm like, they're saying I had holes in my lungs and I had this and that, and I was like, oh my god, I have lung cancer or something. And then he's like, oh, it looks like you're allergic to marijuana. Okay. And then it's like, bye.
Wow.
So I really didn't like that guy. He wasn't very helpful, and bedside manner was just awful.
Yeah.
And my lungs improved just being in the hospital. Of course, they're giving me like steroids and shit to up my oxygen levels before they do procedures.
And you're not eating any cake. So while you're in there.
No, and I haven't done it because I think I run the risk of, could be a stimulant at this point until I know things are going the right direction.
Oh, no, I meant that's part of probably that also helped your lungs recover. It's amazing how fast that you can notice that difference. So those 6 days of not eating any cake, like that probably, if you do in fact have some kind of reaction to it, that probably helped too.
Yeah, and you know what? I was saying this in the hospital. It's like calling it pussy. It's not pussy, it's a vagina. I thought we were here in a medical hospital. Like, it's called cannabis.
Yeah.
And there's sativas and indicas, and you sound like an idiot, Mr. Doctor guy. Also, when I talked to his colleague or, associate, whatever, and that guy, he was younger, and he's like, when you're getting this stuff off the street, you just don't know what they're doing to weigh it down. You don't know. And for the longest time, I just smoke whatever. But then he said, he's got people where he's like, he can tell they changed their supplier.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's, hopefully I can get back to a little bit of that and like a beer at some point. And it's not that important to me, but yeah, pretty drastic life change going on for me, and I'm ready. I went hard in the yard for quite the long period of time, and
yeah.
But did they like that one doctor was shitty about the bedside and the cannabis? But like, did they give you any resources for drinking? Like, I mean, so for me, well, full disclosure, like the last time we podcasted, we had almost a full cast, and I was so excited for everyone to be here. And the bride had been gone for a few days, so I had gotten like a 12-pack of Miller Lite, of which I had either 6 to 8 left. I'm not sure which, which is part of the problem that I'm about to detail. But basically, yeah, I didn't, I was listening more than I talked, which is rare, and so that gave me time to like throw these back, and then so the next day.
Oh, sorry. The early episodes, which is everybody had their drunk episode except Double D. He's responsible.
That's true.
Yeah. I've had a couple drunk episodes. Are you kidding me?
I'm sure I have too.
I drank 9 beers. I don't know when that happened.
The bowl of beers.
Yeah, the bowl of beers.
Yeah, I stopped doing that a while back, but last episode, but the next day I woke up and I had like a thing at work, like a conference, and I was just like flat out hungover in a way I rarely am, and I was just like, Jesus Christ, like this is obviously not a good thing. So I coincidentally, this was before you had your, crisis and that discussion with doctors and stuff about drinking. I was just like, well, I don't know. This has been like something I've enjoyed for a while, but it's like I noticed sometimes it's like I just don't need to do this like this. It doesn't matter. Like I don't want to feel bad the next day. So my solution was, or has been so far, it's like, well, I just don't buy it. Like I can do it every now and again, or if I'm out, I'll have one or something. But nonetheless, it was a habit I was working on breaking. So I have various resources through my job, like stuff that'll give you money off your insurance if you go through these steps. And so one of them is like these online things. And so I'm going through some kind of online course that my job makes available. It's like Dial Back the Drinking. And it's just like dozens upon dozens of strategies and challenges. But so that's something like I have at my disposal through my job, but like being given such a drastic ultimatum as you've outlined, I guess I'm hoping as your brother and your friend that they sent you away from the hospital with at least more resources than I have at my disposal for like how to cope with such a major change. Did someone talk to you or?
Like the nurses, I spent more time with the nurses, and she's like, just shop at a different place. And, but just as a start, something different, but
yeah.
I don't know.
Moto, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you're looking for something or any kind of inspiration. I know that Palmer and I've kind of briefly discussed, and but if you're familiar with Long Walk Short Drink, they have a sponsorship with Audible.com. I believe that if you go to
audibletrial.com/LWSD.
Yeah.
That's right. Which, by the way, I think it was 13 or 14, right after you guys had gotten that. Dave absolutely.
He could not say LWSD. And he's like, I can't say that. And I'm like, it's your fucking podcast. Learn how to say it. Like,
LWD'd it about 6 times. Long, short, walk, drinked it. It was spectacular. Anyway, but if you go to that, you can get a free audiobook, and one that's
spectacular.
One that may be of interest to you is one I think Palmer, are you reading that one right now? The
Unfuck Yourself.
Attaboy. And
I'm done with it. I finished it. It's fantastic. It was fantastic. So good.
Worth listening to. It's got a great accent. It's just one of those things where.
I plugged it last episode. You weren't on yet, but
I was actually viewing when you did, and I know that we'd kind of briefly mentioned it too, via text or maybe a quick call or something like that. But it's terrific, and it's just you have the power inside you to do it, and You just
Absolutely.
stop. There's just no excuses. And I think that if anything I've heard is it sounds like they've taken away your excuses and you've taken away your excuses. And now it's just a matter of doing it. And you absolutely can. Just,
Thank you.
you know,
And
wish you the best. And any support you need, obviously, I think every single one of us are certainly here for you.
I absolutely. And I mean, I can understand where Dave comes from a much closer spot because he's also your brother, wanting to ensure that you have resources available to you. I can tell you the best advice is just that I have found, because I still say like addiction is addiction, whether you're addicted to food or shopping or booze or.
I can't have chocolate right now. It's like, fuck. That's
what? You didn't tell me that.
Yeah. That's a pisser, man. That's a stimulant, right? Is that why you can't have it? Sucks.
Yeah.
I can picture videos of Moto at like 6 years old, a chocolate cake on his face, and Dad's like, "That's a chocoholic right there." So to hear you can't have chocolate, it's so sad.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, first off, don't be afraid to talk to people about what you're going through. That's the first one. It's amazing how sometimes you could like brutal honesty can be off-putting to people. Trust me, I know. But other times it's amazing how how understanding and two, responsive people are to you just opening up. So it really, like when I was going through the smoking thing, like it really took a lot for me to finally get to the point where I would just be like, Ash would be like, "What's going on?" It's like, I want a fucking cigarette more than anything right now. And so I just need to take my mind off of it. And sometimes it would help if she would help me with that. And sometimes it wouldn't help. I just need to go do it myself. But just like being honest about it is the first one. And two, like it's really easy now because you have that motivation up front. Like you have you have this big scare, but it's like the further you get away from that, the easier it is for your brain to be like, well, look at how far, like now it's not going to matter. Right. Like, or you lose like 30 pounds and you're like, well, now you can fucking drink again every day again. You know what I mean? Like, like now I can have 5 beers again every day, you know? And it's like, so when you get to that point where it's like the urge, because the way it works for me is it's like I can feel it start and it just like winds up and winds up and winds up and winds up. And when I would finally get to the point where it's like, all right, I'm going to go smoke a fucking cigarette. And I would say that either I would say it to myself in my head or I would verbally say it out loud. And then but instead of going and lighting the cigarette, then I would follow it up and I would say in 10 minutes, if I'm still at this breaking point in 10 minutes, go buy a pack of cigarettes, but just give it 10 minutes and let's just see if I'm still willing to give up this 10 days of no cigarettes and then this 1 month of no cigarettes and then this 6 month of no cigarettes, and say, just if I still am willing to give that up in 10 minutes, then go give it up. But let's just give it 10. You've already put a week in, you've already put 4 months in. What's 10 more minutes to throw it all away, right? And I guarantee you every time that 10 minutes would be up and I wouldn't even know that the 10 minutes was up. It's just
got your mind off it.
Yep. You just like, you have to acknowledge, like, I'm ready to break. I know I'm going to do this thing in 10 minutes. And it's like then you crest it, it's just your brain is just going to test you and test you and test you and test you because your brain wants that reward. Your brain is your biggest enemy. And it's like, it just wants you to push that button because it really likes it when you push that button. So just push it. Okay. How about now? Just push it. And I still will just have moments where I'm just like, man, a fucking cigarette would be awesome right now. And now I'm more like, how fucking weird is that? I don't even know how long it's been since I've like
coming up on 2 years, right?
2 years. July 4th. I am coming up on 2 years. Yeah. July 4th weekend. So but it's just like, yeah, that 10-minute rule. I have to tell you, like in my brother's wife, because I told her that same thing the Christmas after I quit, and she was trying to quit smoking too. And she was down to like 5 cigarettes a day, but those like 5 cigarettes like ruled her life. Everything was based around those 5, right? And I told her that 10-minute thing, and I just saw her like 2 weeks ago or 2 or 3 weeks ago, and she's like, that 10-minute thing still saves me, just so you know. Like, I still will do that 10-minute rule. And I heard that in like Alan Carr, Easy Way to Stop Smoking, or maybe it was in my smoking classes. It was somewhere. And I was just like, and the first time I tried it, it fucking worked. And then I just used it over and over again. And it's seriously like, it's giving your brain, you're acknowledging what your brain's doing. Like, you're like, I know what you want. And if I still feel this way in 10 minutes, I'll do it. And it's like saying that was enough. It got to the point where that was as good as smoking a cigarette. Like where my brain was like, finally he hears me. You know what I mean? Like, thank you. So.
Yeah, I'll definitely try to think about that and implement it.
Yeah.
I remember the first time, I don't know if it was, I think it was the first serious time trying to quit smoking cake. That was hard. That was because it was such an ingrained routine. That was much less now anymore compared to like a decade ago. But right now I'm just riding that wave of keeping headstrong and looking forward. I mean, I went in, of course I'm on LASIK, which like takes water off you.
Yeah.
But I went in at 266 and I'm already down. I have to weigh myself every day to see if I put on a lot of weight in a short period of time. Like a day, if there's like, say you put 3 to 5 pounds on in a day, something's weird. But it was already 252.4. So that's awesome. Like almost 15 pounds in a week.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So I'm going to
stay
focused on that. Yeah, I'm trying to like.
I used to joke about my divorce diet, but like there's an almost die diet that seems even more effective, if you can call it that.
I'm going to just, keep like the hospital portions are tiny and was watching all my calories and things in there. Sometimes they would force me to, but I consciously was doing it and trying to emulate that here on the outside. I mean, last night was my first night in a bed that I didn't get woken up every 3 hours for vitals and shit. And, just turning over, it's like, I felt like, it's like, oh, I can bend my arm. I don't have an IV in my arm. And so still adjusting, but keeping that headstrong mentality. And I've had some other friends, that are being very supportive and coming out. Like they came out on Father's Day. They're both fathers. And it's like, so I've got a large support group around me and it'll be good. And this is part of it.
You should tell Chubb. Oh yeah, this is part of it. You should tell Chubbs too. I mean, I know. I just know from having a few serious problems in life. One among them, having had my butt cut off and all the problems that led up to that. Like, shame can be such a profound inhibitor of anything good for you. And if people love you, which you have tons of people that do, like they do want to know. Anyway, so
like I said, he's in Columbus, and I know he can't get up here, do anything about it. So I just don't want to make him worried. Like it's now that it's sort of in a different place, and not, I'll catch him up. But
send him this episode.
He doesn't have time for that shit.
Just tell him to subscribe. It's fine. It doesn't have to listen.
I did make him. I didn't make him, but I suggested, and he did subscribe. I don't think he listens, but
that's great.
He and his wife are expecting. So.
Oh really?
Oh man.
Oh wow.
There's a little Chubbs. That blows my mind. I can't even imagine.
Oh, he sent me a picture. He's like, well, you're the first person I'm telling. Here's the world's newest supervillain. And it looked like it had a luchador. The face looked like it had a luchador mask on, and then one of the hands is like flicking off.
Oh man! If you Double D, like Chubbs is a kid from Rittman that I don't know. He's one of the like nicest sociopaths you'll ever meet. I think it's like the best way to say it. Like he's just like he's a great kid with a big heart, but man, he will fuck with your head. Like
yeah, even if he's your friend, he'll do that. But if you're his enemy, gosh.
Yeah. I mean, oh yeah, good Chubb stories. Lots of Chubb stories. And I don't even know him as well as you do, Moto. So, oh, that's hilarious.
He's
and Moto, something to keep in mind. I think we probably talked about it off mic a little bit, but like with Palmer and his smoking stats, if this is a helpful thing, we could have Moto stats or something, or you could even text them in, or you could join us every time. But like anything get you back to that full recovery and to stay in that place. I don't know. This could be a powerful tool, but I appreciate you being brave enough today, of course, to like share all that serious shit.
Absolutely. Yeah. And know your motive, like it will be motivating. This change will be motivating, not just for you, but for other people. So that's another thing, because you don't know how motivating it is for people to hear about it, because you just see it as it's so insular when you're going through a change like this. But I mean, the smoking thing, I couldn't believe how many people through that had listened to the podcast that talked about how impactful that was. So just that's another good motive. Like I mean, if it's, as long as it's, I don't think it's from a bad place, but like if for any other reason, that should motivate you to share, not
help
to
others,
even because you're helping others. Yeah. So don't hesitate to share, because it will help people. Maybe that's my second piece of advice.
I think I'm definitely going to be shocking quite a bit of people. Is like, I don't drink, because I've just, since I've been able to, and I've always enjoyed trying to be entertaining to people around me, but I don't need that,
I think anyone who has seen the Twitter clips of you as a very young child knows that you can be very entertaining without any aid. Electric.
Absolutely.
Go to our Twitter page at LWSD Pod and search. I think it's like 46. I think hashtag LWSD46. You can see Moto beat the shit out of My Pet Monster like Bruce Lee. Anyway, sorry. I was just giving you a little visual illustration for this thought.
Yeah, so I'm excited, and if it I had something to say, I forgot, but
I don't know how. There's no interjections or anything to distract you.
Right.
Anybody I'll have some people that are very surprised that this is the new me or whatever, and if they're mad at me for not drinking, they can just fuck off.
That's right. You got it, man.
But okay, it's not the new. And here's the other thing: don't even look at it that way. It's not the new you, because you're still who you are. Like drinking or eating cake or whatever it is, those are things that you do, or smoking. Those are things that you did. That's not who you are.
Right.
Like, don't let those things define you. What defines you is you. It's abstract. It's like, your thoughts and who you are at your core. Drinking is not who you are at your core. That's not who you are. That's not who the old you is. That may be something that you used to do, but that does not define you. So you can still be Moto, no matter what your actions are. And it's just an action. Like, Palmer used to smoke. Oh my gosh, that's when we met. That's, he was chimney or whatever. Like, we didn't.
You'd only get to see me for 20 minutes at a time, because then every 20 minutes I'd have to go disappear for 5.
Exactly. But that's not who he is. I mean, who he was. I was able to love him for who he was, not for his actions that he did. And if you've got a circle of friends or people who you consider to be your friends that are using you for your actions, like you said,
they're not friends.
You got it.
You don't need people like that. You don't need people like that.
I'm not sure who they would be in my life, but it's like if there is that, let's definitely don't need you in my life, like that pulmonary guy. marijuana.
Yeah, fuck. You're allergic to marijuana.
It's like,
I'm sorry. I don't
didn't
consume marijuana. I consume cannabis, sir.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Sir.
usually 50 of indica.
Yeah.
But no, it's so I appreciate that, and those are good outlooks. I know definitely there was times with cake and things. It's just like people expect me to have it, or they expected me to, when I was around, it should be around, and
Yeah.
and I would say at some point kind of feel like I let them down if I didn't have it.
Yeah.
But I'm over that now,
Yeah.
But there was a period of time where, I felt like that sort of was my identity, a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
And it's hard that all of those social things are hard, especially when you're trying to go through a change like this. Luckily, I mean, the one thing that I can say is that I could see the challenge in this over me quitting smoking was nobody else fucking smoked around me. Like, and everybody fucking hated smoking. Drinking is a very
God, it's
such a
everywhere.
It's so social. It's so innocuous. I feel like now that I'm an adult, it is just as ubiquitous as eating. Like, you go and you see friends and break bread. Now our friends are, hey, I got 85 craft beers in the fridge that are all 900 calories of beer, like
12% alcohol.
12% alcohol, and we're gonna drink 8 of them before the night's out, at least. And
It's
and that is so socially acceptable.
Yeah.
I see that. I could see that being a bit of a larger challenge, but definitely not impossible.
no,
Right.
no, not at all. But yeah, just sitting in the hospital and watching television or whatnot, it's like the amount of commercials every show, and everybody else is getting wasted. But I know a good amount of people who have gotten it out of their life and they don't miss it. So I'm hoping to be one of those people, and even to the point where if I want to drink a beer like the Browns win the Super Bowl, I can drink a
Oh my God, you cured. You cured.
You could drink a beer if the Browns win the Super Bowl. You can drink a beer, Moto.
Am I going? So and I don't want to, everyone can't drink around me. That's bull crap. And I'm able to be my own person. And
Right.
Well,
it's
you
gonna
tell
be
that
good,
story. The peer pressure keeps coming up, and I feel like I don't know the story well enough to tell it. I feel like it'd be better if someone else told it for you. But I think you know what I'm talking about. Can you relay that from when you were with this? What age were you in this?
I was middle school.
That's what I thought. Middle school. Yeah.
And teachers that knew me, they thought I was on drugs. I wasn't. Like, even to the point where Dad came in to talk to the bathroom.
Oh, sorry. Wait. They cut out there again. Dad came in to talk to who?
The basketball coach.
Oh, can you tell us who that was? I gotta know. It's just give us an initial.
No, it's I don't think it's the one you're thinking of. It's actually Broadman's dad at the time.
Oh, see,
still
that's
his
interesting
dad.
too, though. Yeah. Okay. yeah. Still his dad.
That sounds like a better story. What happened to that?
That's weird. He turned into a woman,
Okay.
and woman of the year.
That was
now. So anyways, my parents are concerned about me. Teachers are concerned about me, and they're peer pressure and whatnot. And I told my mom, I said, "Mom, I am the peer pressure."
Yes.
And she didn't quite know what to think of that, but I was just saying, look, I do my shit,
Yeah.
So
That's another long walk, short drink shirt to come. It's just like
I am the peer pressure. Yeah.
Moto with like an empty glass turned upside down, middle finger in the other hand, and on the back it says, "I am the peer pressure. Long walk, no drink."
No drink. Yeah,
Pretty cool.
that's awesome.
Well, one more thing I want to just throw out after, I don't know. I mean, obviously you can talk more about this if you want, but I feel like we put you on the spot long enough. Going back to, I think it's probably episode 37, or at least one of the ones where we talk about Kevin Smith. At that show where the bride and I saw him last year, he was talking about podcasting. He's a big believer in podcasting. The J to his Silent Bob has a podcast may have saved his life called Jay and Silent Bob Get Old, which wherein Jason Mewes told the story of his struggles with addiction. He just kind of owned it in front of a crowd, and then now they go out and tell old stories, sex stories, Mewes, and then at some point they turn to Mewes and they say, "How many days you've been clean and sober?" And I think he's up to like 6 some years now. And he credits the podcast a lot and the accountability and the support from the podcast for that. But I either, alongside that or even independently of it, just the honesty that podcasts allow and the time that they allow to get into stuff. Kevin Smith said at that live show, he's like, because somebody who talked about having a podcast, and he starts to go off about the virtues of them. And he says, like, I guarantee you, if you make 100 podcasts, and then I think he dialed it back to 50. If you make, then someone will come up to you and say, your podcast saved my life. So I don't know. I just thought that was kind of interesting with 50 and all that's been, Moto's been going through. And I don't know. Maybe what you just said will be that the 50th thing for somebody out there.
That'd be great. I enjoy being a part of this group and getting to meet Double D and spend more time with Twinkie after 20 years of not seeing him, and just the camaraderie. And I really enjoy this podcast. So hopefully some more people do, and subscribe on YouTube so we can get our unique URL.
Ding the bell so that every time we do one of these live stream recordings, you get to see that. Follow us on Twitter at LWSD Pod. You can subscribe on any of your favorite streaming services, Stitcher, Google Play Music, which will ultimately become YouTube Music now. Have you seen that?
Oh, really? No.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm the master. I'm the one that gets all the YouTube Red emails. YouTube Red switched over to YouTube Premium now. And by 2019, they will phase out Google Play Music, and it will become this new app called, the app already exists. It's YouTube Music.
I guess that makes sense. I mean, a lot of people go to YouTube to listen to music, right?
Yep. Well, and with YouTube Premium, it's not YouTube Red anymore, but with YouTube Premium, they will let you can play YouTube in the background on Apple devices, which you could not do with the normal YouTube app, which is a bitch if you want to use YouTube to listen to music, because then the YouTube app has to be open on there. So
or a 3-hour podcast like LWSD, which is great on video for all the visual components, but probably eats up your battery.
We lost Moto. He'll probably be back in here. And then last one, get your free copy of Unfuck Yourself or The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Double D, I'd love you to read that, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Because
I really feel like both of those, they essentially are delivering the same message in a lot of ways, which I found very interesting. I definitely liked Unfuck Yourself more than The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
I found that highly enjoyable. No,
so good. So you can get that at by going to audibletrial.com/LWSD. Sign up for your free trial, get your free audiobook. You can get Cujo, you can get Unfuck Yourself, you can get The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. I totally butchered the title of the next self-help book that I'm going to listen to. It's called Man's Search for Meaning. Was the last time, I forget, Man's Quest for Happiness or whatever is what I called it. That's wrong. It's
yes, in your previous episode
Exactly.
Outstanding.
For those audiobook nerds out there, it's Man's Search for Meaning, which this guy, from what I've read on Wikipedia, this man survived the Holocaust, like in a concentration camp. And he used his experience in the concentration camp to basically develop this method. It's not a religion, it's a philosophy, I think would probably be a better way to describe it. But it's basically that as human beings, we find more, from what I understand of it so far, is that we find the pleasure is in the search for understanding. Like we enjoy looking for how things work and the understanding of things, and that's our ultimate desire. So if we feed that, we'll be okay. So you get on any of those, audibletrial.com/LWSD. What fun book am I listening to right now? Annihilation. I'm listening to.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Did you end up seeing that?
I didn't, but I just heard it recommended again today on the Cinema Fireside radio show / podcast I listened to in Milwaukee. So I put it on. I started a list again with like what the movie's named, what kind of movie it is, and where I heard it recommended. Yeah. And that one I had to put various because that's been recommended a lot.
Well, that's Alex Garland directed it, adapted and directed it. So he wrote the script and love it. That's the guy that directed Ex Machina, Double D.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
we need to have that conversation at some point too.
She didn't even fucking hesitate. Just walked right by the motherfucker. Walked right by him.
So powerful.
Did you watch Dread,
Powerful.
Dave? Did you end up watching?
I feel bad about this. I watched half of it, and then I was just like, I get why people like it because it's very stylish and stuff. I'm like, I don't care about any of these people. I'm out.
All right, no, that's fair. That's fair. I can see that. Like, it's a very like, you're very.
Man,
I don't know. That movie is fantastic. I don't know how you could tap out of that movie.
I don't know. It just couldn't grab me, and but I kind of got why people dug it because it was very interesting.
Carl Urban is so awesome as Dredd in that, and like
did they ever like get into like? I don't know who that is. And he was behind that thing the whole time, so I never.
Well, that's Judge Dredd's character. So like. That was a big controversy. So Judge Dredd is based off of the comic AD 2020, I think is what it's called. But it was like a big it's a big comic in Britain. And the whole point of that universe is he is the faceless, like Justice is blind, so you're never supposed to see all of his face. They actually early on in the publication of the comic, one of the early publishers said, you have show his face. I want to see his face. And like the artist at the last minute, right when they were going to print, he does take his helmet off in the comic book and it says censored across his face. Like you've never in the 30 years that the comic's been around, like hundreds upon hundreds of issues, you've never seen Judge Dredd's face. So in the 90s, when they made the Sylvester Stallone Judge Dredd movie, and he takes his helmet off in the first 5 minutes of the movie, and fans of Judge Dredd that's why that movie failed because you should have never seen his face. So Carl Urban's Judge Dredd, he never takes that helmet off for the entire movie. You never see that's so. That is Bones from the new Star Trek movies. That's Carl Urban.
I've only seen one of those. I don't know if I can picture him.
He's the one in the Star Trek in the first new Star Trek, who he's the doctor on the ship. When Kirk first gets on the shuttle to go up, and he's like, "All I've got is my bones." My wife left me.
He's in Ragnarok, Thor Ragnarok. Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think I learned a little about myself. Is it's no wonder. I like a JCVD. I like a Matt. I need the green eyes. I need him to seduce me a little, I guess.
But so like back to that long short drink Annihilation. Yeah. That book's pretty good. Get that LWSD/LWSD. audibletrial.com/LWSD. I could say one thing, like, so I have had a couple beers. I feel like while Moto's like talking all this shit, like this is how a fucking insensitive Palmer is. Like,
no,
Palmer's
dude, like I said, if I'm not going to change my ways, and I don't want people to not have a good time because I'm around. You know, it's like,
oh yeah, well, and I'm the same way with like. There's the few smokers that are in my life. I've had to talk to all of them and say like, where they'll be smoking and I'll come out and they'll want to put them out or whatever, and it's like, don't fucking, like, that doesn't bother me at all. It doesn't make me want to smoke. If anything, it makes me want to smoke less because it smells fucking like shit. Like, it smells so gross. But I mean, one thing I can say is we didn't start out the show with cracking a beer or anything like that, and like we haven't had one pee break. We've been going for 3 hours now, not one fucking pee break. Like, that's
less booze will do, I guess.
It's pretty evidential right there, right? Yeah. Is that even a word, evidential?
It is now. No, I think it is.
Asalingus.
I'm telling you, you need to watch. Like, I'm not going to tell you where it is in the movie because you'll know when it's coming up, but it will still catch you off guard at how abrupt it happens. Like,
and how long you said it was.
It's so long. Like, there's this one point where he realizes it's not going to do, like, because he's trying to embarrass him, and he has no shame because he's an internet celebrity, which I thought was that was a really highbrow level of joke. That they never really come back to very much, but he realizes that nothing he's going to do will embarrass this guy or cause him to do it. And so he pulls him out of the guy's ass and he's like, okay, that's enough. And he's like, I'm not done. And like right back into the asalingus, like right back into it. So wow. Dirtiest scene I've ever seen in a non-porn movie. And I've seen a lot of dirty shit. Like, let me tell you,
I'm sure they could only do that because they're playing it for comedy. But it sounds intense.
Absolutely. I mean, if it would, what's so like, this is where, like, again, preferences and all like acceptance and all that aside, it's like they can show a man eating out another man's ass for a joke. But if it would have been a serious love scene, like that would have been X-rated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
that's not happening.
Yeah.
So, which is just like, I don't want to see any, like, I think maybe it's inappropriate for any ass eating to happen in a film. How about that?
Get on board with that. That seems reasonable.
Yeah. Like, how about we just keep the ass eating in the bedroom where it belongs, you know? Like, between two or more consenting adults.
Or more. I think that's the human centipede, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
Here, sign here.
Yeah.
Apple.
Well, shall we take a... Sorry.
End user license agreement.
South Park made a joke about that. They said, you didn't read the iTunes agreement?
Yeah,
you signed up for this? You didn't.
The user agreement.
Didn't read it.
Here, sign this.
The 4 people that didn't actually read the user agreement get turned into a human centipede. And everybody's just dumbfounded that these 4 people didn't read it. Oh, shit.
Beautiful. Well, gentlemen, the first 50 have been spectacular, and I'm looking forward to at least another 50 more.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Super excited. It's been a great journey so far. You by no means have to have this as your sign off, because I'm sure that there's still
we got 40 minutes. Yeah.
We're 40 minutes away from the wrap up. You don't have another 40 minutes in you, Double D? Come on.
Nor do I have $250 to stay on the call. So
that'll be our one Patreon level. Should we ever get
it? That's it.
Principal.
$250.
it unlocks everything.
Yeah. What do you get? I don't know. Nothing. I don't know. We'll have to come up with something.
But thank you so much for allowing me to join. And Twinkie, if you're coming on later, wish you all the best, and I can't wait to catch it when it comes out. But yeah, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. In Moto,
Double D.
anytime.
Double D.
Great seeing you, man.
Hey, call me the fuck back, Double D.
Yeah, it's coming.
How about, yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't just calling to try to get you on episode 50. Sometimes I just want to talk to you, you know.
I know, and I want to talk. Well, yeah. And when I do call back, it'll be a long call. So
Okay, good.
all right.
Well, if I don't hear my phone, I've been having trouble with my phone where I'm not hearing any notifications. So if you don't get me right away, just leave me a voicemail. I'll call you right back.
Have you been calling me? I've gotten no notification.
Yeah, bullshit. Don't bullshit.
All right, gentlemen, it's
All
been
right.
a pleasure.
We'll see.
Great
Take care,
to
man.
talk to you, sir. Thanks for
Talk
joining
soon.
us.
Thanks for coming on.
That's what she said.
Awesome.
That's the way you leave. That's
Yeah,
like a
Andy's
George
got-
Costanza
He had it,
exit. Just like
perfectly
joke.
timed. He had it right there, ready to go. Like, yep. That's awesome.
Right. Outstanding. Well, should we take a pee break and then you can fill us in on, you've been putting off telling us anything about your life.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have to tell anybody about my life.
I want to know. And I know a few things. I'm like, I need this on the record, man.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Let's take a pee break and then let's take 5 for our one viewer. Don't fucking go away. I bet it's
That's right.
twinking anyways. Don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know who it would be. Nobody's chatted. I've had the chat up the whole time. So
Broadman's really enjoyed listening to us. He's keeping up with all the new episodes. And he's like, got a new long walk, short drink today. You know,
that's awesome.
Oh, that's
like
amazing.
Broadman, thank you. So I'm so like, that's so touching to just, I love hearing like new people finding out about the podcast in some way and then loving it. Like it's like, that's the thing is like, I swear and I'm grateful for every listener that we have and every play that we have. But like when it finally does, and I know it's going to happen, we're going to get like those things are just going to like exponentially multiply because I think that like people will want to listen to what we have to say.
be a part of the community.
Be a part of our community. And that's what it is. Like as all arrogance aside, I think they will want to be a part of our community. So
I love podcasts, and what I mostly love about it, especially are ones that are like conversation based. It's just fun to like, I feel like I'm hanging out with people without the pressures of engaging in the conversation.
You
and
got
of course the convenience of doing it whenever you want.
Yep.
But yeah, so I love the idea that people are getting that kind of enjoyment out of me talking about
Jean-Claude Van Damme watching 12-minute videos of Jean-Claude Van Damme exercising.
Yeah.
He
Oh
was
my
so
God.
sweaty. He was
I know.
so sweaty.
Like orange.
And orange with green hair. Oh, man. All right. Well, let's do that pee break. And then, so let's come back. It's my clock says 3 after. Let's come back at 10 after.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Let's do that.
Blood sport, kickboxer. These are things that like change their lives. You know, they're like, I'm going to Thailand. I'm training with Uncle Zian.
It's hard to imagine. I really just wanted to throw kicks on film after that. Like they're like, I want to go, fight like that
I've just
for real.
I've heard it on like interviews and things. That's one of those sports where such an individual. I mean, they do it for football and get an insight on a person. But one thing that the UFC did really well is that they do these in-depth backstories about and get you involved in their life struggle, what got them there, and why they're fighting. And so through those type of interviews, I've heard quite a few of like, I saw a kickboxer and I just had to go. Like,
That's awesome. I'm very curious at this new Lionheart if these are like new interviews with him, because I think they have a hold of like the old like from the time interviews, behind the fights. I don't know. Oh, I think they are new because one of these things says Archival making a feature Archival interview. Anyway.
Oh, I was thinking when we had the wrong bet.
Yeah.
The wrong bet song. I was thinking of working in the you know how they did the kicks. I don't know. That wasn't pianos? It was somebody's style to do the like they show the same kick like 5 times in a row.
Oh yeah, like the cuts where it's like
a
bunch. Yes, yeah, that was in Lionheart and it was in a bunch of movies. Lionheart was the last one actually that they did that.
And it did cut it down. Yeah, didn't do it as much.
Yeah.
But that would be funny to work in the song if we make a song out of that.
Oh yeah, that would be so fun. that was working for me right from the jump.
Sorry, guys.
Bet.
Hey, we were just dreaming up wrong bet sound clips.
Wrong bet.
Actually, that drum, maybe that drum fill could maybe one time be just kicks. Just like like kick noises.
Wrong bit.
Yeah. I wonder if we can like take the audio that we had and make something out of that. You know?
Oh yeah. I mean, that's a good place to start. That's what I was thinking. I was like, I think we're making it right here, because you hear those things like where they'll take a news report and make like put a dance beat behind it, and it's like a song. So I was like, I'm hearing it. It could even be like JC doing that booms, booms, booms from the training video.
Wrong bit.
Booms, booms, booms. Cibola, boom, de boom, de boom.
Oh. Oh, my life for you.
So I just shared. We don't need to get into this. I want to know what's going on with you, but it's so funny to me that I was looking at that Patreon page for the Squadcast, and they're starting a book club, and their first book, Book Squad. It's The Outsider, the new Stephen King book.
Son of a fucking bitch. They are listening to our podcast.
It gotta be, right?
It sounds like it.
They took a break of like 6 months and just listened to Long Walk Short Drink. Because where were they for that time?
Listen, there's the only saving grace is we have timestamps on our episodes. Like we know we were first on all that shit. So,
oh, that's fun. The $2 per month contribution. They have names to the tiers. The $2 per month is you're in the goddamn club. That's great. Oh, the very highest level, $66 a month, is you've been dorked. As in, you know, they say, have you or have you not ever been dorked?
Right. I want to like interact with them just to test my theory on if the best friend was actually not into monsters.
Oh yeah, no, I think that's a great theory.
Yeah,
I'd be so curious to know if Twinkie at least saw that they were there or anything. I don't know if it was the day like he was floating around. He didn't tell us anything, but maybe he's waiting to surprise us because they were at that Denver Comic-Con.
Yeah, but if he would have even recognized them, I'm sure they don't look anything like they did when they were 8.
That's true. And he wasn't watching movies around that time in history. So
yeah. That's very true. Sorry, it took me so long to get back up here. Ash was just getting ready to go to bed, and so we decided to go down and hang out for a bit. Yeah, do what we do before she went to bed. So,
do that. Do. But actually, the other thing Broadman was saying, he's like, check out the oils. There's these little oil. I don't know. This stuff hits you a little different. So it's so much really feeling it. But
the edible?
He was listening to an episode. It's a vaping oil.
Yeah, I can't. Nothing ever worked for me better than just eating a piece of cake. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yes, I do.
edibles, oils, like any of those things. I swear that edibles didn't work for me because I'm too fat, and THC is fat soluble. So if I ate an edible, I thought my body was just putting it into stored fat and not actually processing anything. So that's why I never felt anything off of an edible. Yeah, maybe I would try those. That I have tried that. No, I've tried shatter.
And I've tried vaporizers. And like I said, they feel like nothing's happening, and then until you've gone too far. Sort of. And then it's like, yeah. So yeah.
Then you're like Dr. Evil with your head between your legs, like spinning, like.
Got to figure out what's right for you, but he told me to mention it, so I did.
No, that I definitely will. I will look into that. We actually have to say goodbye to cake, so we're at that point in our life where that has to happen. So and that's okay, because every good era needs an ending, right? And so
that's how you can look back at it as the good old days.
Yeah, exactly. And also as like a way to like as a goal in the future, you know, like I love one of the things that I love about my wife is her endless. She wouldn't believe this because I always like roll my eyes at it, but she is endlessly positive, right? Which is something that I need. It's a good balance for me. And so her whole take is like, yeah, we're going to stop cake now, but it just means once it's legalized or once we retire, like then it's on like Donkey Kong, you know? So
and so much better.
Yeah. And
rewarding or something.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's okay. You know, there was definitely a period of our relationship and our lives where cake wasn't a part of that. So like Double D was saying, like, it's not a part of our identity or anything. So
yeah, not who you are, just something you did.
Yeah, exactly. So, which is good. I mean, I honestly, I was getting to the point where and maybe this was just what I was dealing with in my life or whatever, but I would eat a piece of cake and it would really make me super, super paranoid. Even in like the comfort of my own home, you know, where I might have eaten a piece of cake 100 times before with zero incident, I would not feel comfortable all of a sudden. Which is that's not fun. Like that's not enjoyable or pleasant. And so, and it didn't matter what strain we had or what kind we had. It was more, that's where I knew it was all mental. Cause it was like, it was the act of what I was doing that was causing the stress and not actually what I was doing that was causing the stress. So yeah, it's just good all around. I think it's just a good point for us to take a break and step away from it for a while. So
sounds good.
Which is good. I mean, it's career driven, that's for sure. We're both starting,
which is better than cake driven.
Which is better than cake driven. So it's we both I was recently offered a position with an organization that was too good to pass up. So
awesome.
Yeah, it is. In some ways, I don't know. Like it is great. It just is really hard to not. I just have to keep reminding myself like I'm not giving up on my business, or like those two things can still exist and coexist. You know, like I wasn't going to be able to to get my business off the ground. I wasn't going to be able to do that without working some kind of job anyways. So you might as well get a job that's going to pay you a decent amount of money, and that's what this is. So she also is starting in the same organization, and so we're just, and we can't have cake when we're in that organization. So
it's nice you're doing it together.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, and it was, I could see that becoming a challenge. The path that we were going down were, you know, I was just going to be working on the business and just working like an hourly job that really, it didn't matter if I had cake or not. I was going to stop because but it would have been, I could see it very easily where, oh, I just happened to be with this person, and so we happen to have a piece of cake, and then she found, you know, she doesn't get to, and then I would feel shitty about it, and which she would not make me feel shitty intentionally, but I would. And so this just makes it really easy. You know, it's like you were saying earlier about you know, it's not that hard of a decision when you actually have to make the decision. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
so
Yep.
So this just makes the decision really easy, you know? So
you get to do it together and support each other, and just going to be new.
Yeah. So that'll be good. So yeah.
Do you want to tell us about your business stuff anyway? I mean, it's the kind of thing you're doing anyway, and I know you've been doing a lot of work on it.
Yeah, the business is going fine. I'm just spending a lot of time in the shop. Like yesterday, I spent I feel like 3 hours in Home Depot building my dust collection system in my head, and making sure I was getting all the right parts for that. So I have all those now. It's just everything. I have all the pieces for my CNC machine now, right? And I have nowhere to build it. So it's because everything is just like more steps than you think it's going to be, and more money than you think it's going to be, and more pieces and parts than you think it's going to be. So I'm just trying to not get overwhelmed and eat the elephant one bite at a time, and break it just down into sizable, manageable chunks, you know? So like yesterday, the manageable chunk was to go to Home Depot and like get all the pieces that you need, because I was worrying about that more than actually getting stuff done in the shop. But it's like, now that I scratched that itch of now I have all the pieces in the house that I need. Now I can like get the other 3 steps to get to the point where I'm ready for those pieces. And so, I'm pretty set up for that. Tomorrow, I think I should be able to get the last little bit of everything in my shop ready to where I can get the dust collection system up. All of it is about space. My shop is so teeny tiny. I have to, and there's essential things that I need. So like the dust collection system is really crucial because, one, I don't want to die on all the like crap, breathing all the crap, right? So it will trap a good portion of that crap right at the source of all my machinery, which is awesome. But like ultimately I'm going to have a laser on my CNC machine, which generates smoke and fumes, and those need to be vented. And so if I have this dust collection system, I can set it up in a way that when I'm running the laser, that's vented outside through like my dryer vent. But I have such a finite amount of space in my shop, and I know I need to save at least 4 foot by 8 foot for my CNC table. So now at this point, I'm just trying to get I was grateful that I had the workbenches built in the way I realized that today, like I had built my workbenches in a way that they were modular so I could change them around if I needed to. And I'm so grateful that I did that instead of building them to the space that I put them in initially, because I would have had to tear them down and rebuild them. But now I can just reconfigure them how I need them and wrap them around. They were a straight line before, and now they're like wrapped around a corner, which is awesome that they were that versatile. Like it was really a good proof of concept my design. And so, but it's like all those steps need to happen so that I can ensure, okay, like I know I need this dust collection system. So now I need to find the space for that to go in this limited amount of space that I have left, while still leaving this. And it's like the dust collection system is the last one. Once I get that piece in, then I can go and get the stuff to build the CNC table. And then once I build that, then it's putting the CNC machine together and getting that up and running. So, and then all of that takes time. So that's another thing to just remember, that I'm really struggling with this job offer, just because it feels like the job offer feels like everything else in my life. Like it's the decision that I was supposed to make. And up to this point, I feel like all of the majority of those decisions, I keep saying all, but the majority of those decisions, this is what you should do, were not the right decisions for me. Like I don't feel like I should have gone to college and gotten 2 degrees for a job that I'm not doing anymore, but the debt that I'm going to carry for the rest of my life. I wish I would have gotten an engineering degree, because the debt is impacting me more than the career. You know what I mean? So it's like, if I would have been an engineer, like I could have taken care of the student debt by now, and I probably wouldn't have like gotten in the position that I was in, doing a career that pays nothing essentially, but is a passion.
I was going to say, yeah, I mean, it's so much of who you are is like, what's cool is you could do either or, your personality is balanced enough to where you could, be an engineer or a teacher. But it seems like, I don't know. What if you didn't do it? What if it never, I mean, other than the debt part, like, I don't know, it seemed.
Well, and I mean, and that was such a big part of my identity. Like Broadman was talking about how I had worked with the Future Problem Solvers of America in 8th grade, and how I think you were in that math class that I taught when I was in 8th grade, or there was a group of your friends for sure that were in that class. I mean, I've wanted to teach since I was in middle school, and it just didn't, it didn't pan out, but it was what I was supposed to do. Right. And, so this job, this business idea, like I finally felt like I got all the cojones to finally like do what I wanted to do instead of what I was supposed to do. Right. And now all of that has just been like this amazing, and I am grateful for it, offer literally came out. I written the job off, and comes out of nowhere, that when combined with Ash already joining this organization, that was already going to change our life. And this will like yesterday I said, like, I never want us to be like, I always want us to be, if I do this, we can never not be these people who we are right now. Like, and I want you to hold me accountable to that just as much as I'm going to hold you accountable to it. Like, that's how much of a life change it could potentially be for us. And it's so hard not to feel like a sellout now, because it's like, I'm doing what I want to do, and I really believe in it. But it's like, that's what, like, I can do both. That's really what I just have to keep telling myself, is I can do both.
Is it close? I mean, is there much of a commute?
Oh no, like no commute. Like,
oh, that's great.
Like 10 minutes.
Oh,
like,
that's fantastic.
Like, it's a little more than that, but it's really not. It's not an hour and a half like it was before. I
can imagine that will help, though, if you think about the time that you spent in a metal box.
Yeah.
You can now still have a full work day and spend, even if it's only half that time or whatever, in the shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's going to be months of me like, I'm fully confident that I'm going to be able to use my creativity and my ability to figure stuff out and then use that to make things that I want. I'm fully confident I'm going to be able to make something of this venture. I'm also really confident that that's going to take time. And so that's really what it boils down to, that I'm reminding myself, like, I'm just funding that time, like, and this doesn't mean that goes away. But then it's just like the realist in me, which most people, I guess, would call a cynic, are just like, you're just telling yourself what you need to, you know what I like? Because it's just, yeah. So that's, I mean, that's where I'm at. The business is, it's on like Donkey Kong. I have my logo.
Awesome.
I have my,
I got to see that logo. Did you share that are you ready to share that with the people, or are you wait?
Yeah. Oh no, I can.
I think it's so fun.
I can, let me see if I have that on here. I think I do.
Our YouTube viewers, and depending on what platform you listen, you may have noticed a new Long Walk Short Drink logo, and that is also something that Palmer made. It's spectacular.
Yeah, perfect day to pull it out.
Oh yeah. This is our little tease, because the goal is that when we come back from our hiatus, there should be an actual legitimate Long Walk Short Drink website. Because I'm also going to make the website for my business during that hiatus. Let me share the screen, entire screen, which is this. Let's minimize that too. This is the.
Oh yeah.
Let me talk here so it pops up here. Palmer by Design is going to be the name of my business. With my little palm tree there.
And it says, oh, sorry. You have to keep talking so walk us through the elements that are on screen for our podcast listeners, and I guess just so that the image stays up for our YouTube viewers.
Yep. So the palm tree is there because that's the name Palmer comes from like they're adventurers who would go to the new land, and to prove that they went to the new land, they would bring back the most exotic things that they could find, but they had to be things that could survive the trip. And one of those things were palm leaves or palm fronds so they would bring them back to Europe when they would come back from the new land to prove that they had been there and hadn't just disappeared for so long, right? And then said they went there. So these people who would go to the new land were slowly over time dubbed Palmers, because they carried around these palm leaves to prove that they had been to the new land. And so that's where the palm tree comes from. And Palmer by Design just sounds cool. With games, which I haven't figured that part out. Well, pinball and wood games and all kinds of stuff. Woodwork, vinyl, and lasers. Which that is just, I mean, of course I'm going to have a laser, but that's a great conversation piece.
That's right.
And then palmerbydesign.com, which is my website. So
that is awesome.
Yeah. So
awesome.
Did you go through, is that something that was just kind of in your mind, the whole palm tree thing, or did you have to kind of brainstorm images and?
Well, I mean, I've known about the palm tree, the palm leaves that's one of the versions of where the name Palmer comes from that you run across, right? You do those like surname histories of surnames, and they're not, sometimes they conflict with each other. That's one of the versions of Palmer that I heard that I really like that. I like the idea that somewhere my, great ancestors were adventurers, and like And so this is kind of like an adventure for me,
Oh yeah.
this new idea. And so I really picture the palm tree as being like, I want to make a brand or use that as like my my mark for pieces that I make.
Yeah.
So, and I drew that, like I drew the trunk and then I digitally made the leaves and the coconuts on there.
That's great.
Then
I love it.
Yeah, it just Palmer by Design just popped into my head. It rolls off your tongue. I like it.
Well, anyone that's dreaming up an idea, it's like, I don't know, it just says get together, or I can make it for you, or just like the idea of dreaming something up.
Nailed it. Yes, that's it. That's exactly what I was going for. So,
I like it too a little bit, like the adventure thing. It's Palmer by Design, and you've talked a little bit about that name and stuff, or like the persona or what have you. But it also seemed to cut the catalyst for it all seemed to come about at a time where you're really trying to figure some things out and make a new path for yourself. So I like that too. It was like, it sort of seems to have a personal underpinning, at least like the way I'm interpreting it.
No, and all of those things. I think all of those things are. Yes, I think is the best way to say it. So, yeah. I mean, that's where I'm at right now. I'm really struggling. Like I'm grateful for the opportunity for this career path. It is definitely has nothing to do with education, and that is a little scary. But it's equally scary to me. I really like when I made the decision to quit my job and to go down this path. I remember waking up one morning and Ash was like, what's wrong? Like, you look really, there's just something different. And I was like, I'm bursting with the opportunity of this. Like, there's just so, like, it just felt so good, And it's like, this is the first time since then that I've just like, I woke up today and I was just like, yeah. And, she says it's like just PTSD from the past two experiences that I've had. And I'm willing to accept that that's probably like 90% of it, but it's still like a desk job in a cubicle, staring at a spreadsheet for 8 hours a day, and it's like not anything close to what sounds appealing to me at all from just a pure work aspect, right? But if I go into it and I go into it like I'm going to learn and this is something new, and there for all of this, there's just as much opportunity and potential in this path, and that's where I need to just get over myself and say, even though this isn't necessarily what you want, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're sacrificing anything. You're still getting opportunity, you're still getting potential, and you definitely can create a self-fulfilling prophecy if you go into this saying like, this is gonna fucking suck, because then it will just fucking suck because you make it suck. So I don't want that to happen. The good thing is that like I probably won't start for 90 days probably at the earliest. So I have time to get my head wrapped around it for sure. It's so new. Like Ash and I have been walking. This week we've been really good where we've gone on 2 walks. We've committed to where we want to try to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday right now of walking. And we have a 5K there. It's almost a perfect 5K, this path that takes us around. It kind of goes outside of our neighborhood. We walk through UD, like we walk to UD basically, and then walk back to our neighborhood. And it's like 3.1 miles. It's almost like, I think it's 5K is like 3.2. So we're just under a 5K. It's a great walk. Like I hit my Fitbit went off. I hit my calories at like 9:30 this morning.
Oh, wow. Oh, because you did the walk.
Geez.
Yeah.
Because we did the walk, right?
That's awesome.
So, which is fantastic. I've also lost like 30 pounds.
Wow.
I
is great.
didn't know if it was the black or the hat, but you
Yeah.
definitely look.
which is good. So in Moto, I'm going to tell you right now, like your situation is definitely inspiring. Like I mean, I'm going to work and lose this weight right alongside you for sure.
Awesome.
Where was I going with that? Oh, we went on that walk this morning. We started that walk this morning, and she's like, so how are you feeling about this job and all this stuff? And then I'm like, well, I mean, if I'm just being honest, like it's really hard right now not to feel like I'm selling out. And like she took that really hard, and I'm like, I didn't mean that to be hard. This was all me thinking in my head, like I didn't mean that to sound shitty. I'm just trying to be honest, like
with yourself,
with myself and her, and like, because I don't want to be delusional about this. And yeah, at the end of the day, it's like I'm going into this with no major debt shackle, right? Where I'm going to feel trapped in this job because I have to keep I'm working to just pay my debt off. Because I've taken care of that. So that's huge. And it will change our life. So I just need to focus on that and know that I'm not compromising anything. Like my business is still going, and it's just me trying not to be a baby about it, not to be a big man.
No, it's a large change, especially like you said, coming off the emotion roller coaster that you were. I kind of feel like, if you don't get enough of something, like you're not getting enough of your woodworking business, laser business, sharks with freaking lasers on their heads.
Lasers on their heads.
But that kind of makes that time more special when you do get to put time in there. And
yep. That's
dedicated.
And that's very true. And like, I mean, I'm sure there's listeners that are just going to roll their eyes and just be like, are you fucking kidding me? Of course it's not going to work, because it's like we're renting right now and I'm building this huge shop in a rental, like, so this is going to really, this will ultimately lead to us getting our own space for sure, which is going to be a huge, like I told Ash today, I'm like, working in my shop, it's because it's so small. It's like I have to really be cognizant of my workflow through a project, because I have to usually clean my shop 4 times or more, like throughout a project, because I'll get one step done and that will like totally mess my shop up. And to do the next step, I have to clean it up so I can make it mess it up for the next step, and it'll be, and that's only because I don't have space to do each step kind of in its own section, or I have to move tools out to move other tools in and stuff like that. So it'll be, I told her, I was like, it'll be weird to be in a shop. Like I won't know what to do when I get into a legitimately sized shop where I can give each tool its own space and actually not fall over things while I'm trying to work. So, I mean, there's an infinite amount of positive outcomes to me accepting this position. And I fully acknowledge that the majority of this apprehension I have right now is just on me. So, I'll get over it. It'll be great. It's a great opportunity. It's a ton of potential to learn new things and expose myself to a diversity and a new environment that I never saw myself being a part of. I'm trying to be really careful because I like really can't say anything about the organization or the position. So, yeah, I mean, that's what it is. That's where I'm at. I know it sounds like I'm not like in a good spot about it, but it's, I acknowledge I'm putting myself in that spot. It's not.
Oh, it makes perfect sense. I mean, you made a huge, like, you kind of, walked off a cliff of faith, like, and then yeah. So it definitely makes sense why you would feel this way. And it's hard to know, right? If it's how it's gonna work out. But it definitely sounds like, I don't know, if I think about, so I don't know enough like entrepreneurial stories, but I think a lot of people who, get to do something that they love for a living did that thing for free while they did other stuff for a long time until suddenly, and I'm thinking of the worst examples, like James O'Barr, the author of The Crow, used to like draw The Crow at night, and he detailed cars during the day, and he didn't like it. And then eventually he was making more money doing something. It wasn't The Crow. I think like making T-shirts or something for drawing illustrations for. Anyway, but he got to a place where it's like, oh, I'm actually making as much money doing this as that, so I don't have to do that other thing anymore.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was first starting to play my own music and stuff like that, I had seen this documentary called DIY or Die. And there was an interview in there with all these people that made their living from making, I think it was all music, or maybe just art in general. But there's an interview with Steve Albini, a famous producer, and he has, notoriously has this view of making records. Like I don't think he doesn't like the word producer. He says recorded by Steve Albini, and he eventually worked with bands like Nirvana and stuff. I'm sure Moto knows who he is.
Something unique about him is that he doesn't take royalties. Like if you took royalties or he took his like whatever their percentage points, like say from Lithium or some of these albums that he's done, he feels like, you asked me to build a house, I built a house for you to build the house. I don't 20 years later if your house is still standing.
Wow.
So yeah, he's got a unique approach on that type of thing.
Yeah, he does. He's a very
awesome drum sound.
Right. Yeah.
Go to him for his drum sound.
Yeah, he's but even now, I think, he runs a studio and rents out his services and stuff as an engineer or the studio, and he thinks of it like that, like building houses or whatever. But he was talking about, it's like, I remember so distinctly him saying, it's like, most people have a job, and then at, certain points or sometimes they resent that job. And he's like, so few people get to make living making music. And, now I'm definitely paraphrasing and probably misremembering things, but he's like, there's a real danger if you are that fortunate that you will come to resent this job as much as you did that other job. So he's like, for me, I've always tried to, he was saying, because he also played music, like I always tried to protect that part of it by, not relying on it for income, or not expecting that I should get to rely on it for income. And so that really informed like the way that I approached that, and still to this day. And like for me, if I needed to make a living from making music, I would have had to make such tremendous like concessions to where, and for me, the concessions, like whatever, playing say 50% covers or whatever it was in shows or whatever it might be. I was like, I would literally rather not do it than do that stuff. And,
right.
But so I guess that's my frame of reference. And so imagining you starting this new thing and having something to help subsidize it, get you in a new place where you could actually do it, and hopefully maybe retain more of the, not that you wouldn't have it otherwise, but I think it could be good to not have the pressure of like, oh my God, I need to bring in this much money a month to make this. Like, I don't know. That's perhaps a little bit more how I work than I'm projecting on you. But I'm hoping that, you can build the business as or the practice or the whatever it is you kind of think of it as, from a place of like joy and like it's the thing you go and do and you're like, oh my God, it's been this many hours and I've lost myself in it. I don't know. That's my hope for you.
No, and I'm sure it's gonna pan out. I mean, one way or another, it's gonna pan out. And like, again, and this is why my wife is so awesome, is because she's like, listen, it's, at the end of the day, I care more about your sanity. So if it starts to get to the point that this is not working out for you, then you just quit. Like, then we just go back to this. Like, we know we were going to do this, right? So we'll add this piece to that. And if it starts to not work, we know that piece, we'll take that piece back out and we'll come back to this point, you know?
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
Which that is totally true too. So it is a little hypocritical to say that I'm bursting with the opportunity of all of these options and then to say, accept this one, you know? So I need to embrace the opportunity and just accept the fact that you don't always get to pick the path, right? Like you try to steer it and you try to stay on the one you want or the one that you enjoy the most or whatever however your priorities are. That's the path you try to go down, but sometimes the path just ends or changes or what have you, you know, and you don't have any control over that. And so just, you know, it's just the way the universe works. So, I mean, I again, I'm grateful for the opportunity. I'm definitely excited to be a part of this organization. I'm excited to learn this whole new field, you know, this whole new career path that I had not even considered, but I'm really confident I will be good at. So we'll see.
Learning from the internet.
Yeah.
So,
and it's good. I think, you know, I mean, it's important to feel how you feel and acknowledge it, and not, you don't have to. You feel how you feel, and it's much better to be honest about that. I have to imagine than to try to suppress it or whatever, like
or deny it, or you know, try to change it into something else or what have you. It's just, you know, it just kind of, there's a part of me that's like, yeah, that's kind of a bummer, you know, like, but there's another part of me that's like, this is a great opportunity and it's more money than you've ever made. And it's really
going to learn what you like to do,
impact our family. And I get to learn what I really want to do, you know? So when I get to retire and I have a greenhouse full of cake and
and a huge workshop,
and a log cabin house, and I'm restoring pinball machines and, you know, building custom signs. I can look back at this and be like, look at that path that you chose. So
yeah, it's a tough time, but then you got to the I had a term for it, but you know, just that end goal, the happy place that you want to build.
Yeah.
Build.
What was that thing that was from the book before, where you're like a lot of man's search for meaning or whatever? Is it in that process, right? Something like that?
Yeah. Like your that happiness, a lot of our happiness as human beings are derived from searching for meaning rather than actually getting it. Let me see if I can find. So everybody got a chance to really catch up, the listeners and each other.
Yeah, that's been good.
But you, Dave, what's going on? Like, what do you?
Oh no,
like?
I don't. I mean, I'm not just saying this, but there's nothing I can think of. I mean, I'm working on a lot of stuff, but stuff that's taken a long time, and will be fun to talk about when it's, in some stage of doneness.
How are your projects though coming? Because we know like you're working on a bunch of stuff. We listen to you all the way from like going through other bands, road footage to your and Dave audio correspondence and 10-year anniversary dog days, right?
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
A lot of concert footage, all of those like how are all those things going? Like how are you happy with where the project, you don't have to tell us like specifics,
I think
but
so.
are you happy with where they're going? Like
yeah I went through at least a dozen, probably more, long form shows that I played from 2006 through 7, and I found that was painful, but I found it ended up working itself out really well. I picked the performances that I thought, it's like a kind of composite show that also is like composite. Even the intros are from different shows and stuff. So that's one element of perhaps a sort of standalone element of this like 10th anniversary thing that I've been working on most directly. But I think I've picked a lot of these cards of help remind me, and I haven't put them up, but of like all these different just visualizations of all the components of what will be part of this 10th anniversary big box set type thing. So that's been really fun. I have been working on a Cabin Kids project that I guess I don't want to get into too much, but I will say that as part of that, I've been looking at the raw footage that comprises the one video that we have on our YouTube page and that is familiar to Cabin Kids, which was all shot for the purpose of having some kind of montage. I was making a lot of senior video montages at the time, and I thought it'd be fun with this new emerging group of friends to do something like that. So I've been watching those tapes and kind of editing them down on the 20th anniversary of the date whenever possible. So that's been pretty cool. And I rescued a lot of some source material from the Cabin documentary from Mold and Decay, and that's been some physical work. And I have this is kind of like, other than Long Walk, Short Drink. I mean, it's frustrating for me not to finish things, but I do finish a Long Walk, Short Drink every 2 weeks, so that's good.
Yeah.
But my projects have been big, and so I have this like 1, 2, 3. These are all music related, but so one is to get this Dog Days 10th anniversary thing finished, and then 2 is to return to this this documentary about it centers around the last album I made, but it's kind of about more than that Moto and I made together. And then this third one is kind of taking all of the different approaches. Like the Dog Days one is multimedia. The Furious Light documentary is a documentary that I intend to do like they're doing like with Squadcast and stuff. I mean, I intend to try to enter it into any and all film festivals I can, and just kind of have that experience for the first time in a long time. And then the third one is a auto. I've been calling it auto focused, and whereas the Furious Light documentary is based around an interview / conversation that was recorded video wise, and then some supplementary footage. This will be all documentary footage, but largely that's pretty much always coming from, I mean, I didn't always take it, but it's all like home video-ish type of stuff that will kind of span the entire 10 years that I was recording music recently. I've been thinking about that for a long time, and I may do the festival thing with that as well. But that's kind of like the 3 large projects that I've been chipping away at. And
awesome.
I haven't started the third one, but the Furious Light documentary is in a great place. It just, I don't know, these kind of anniversaries. I was also feeling like if I spent some time with this Dog Days material, that I could fill in this hole that I felt was in the documentary. But I realize now that that's not so necessary. But I think that piece, which will have a potentially much wider reach than, the 10th anniversary of an album, very, very, very few people are even aware exists. I don't think that's going to get new listeners, but I think the documentary could allow for me to create a context that would introduce new people to that music. So anyway, I am excited about those things and enjoying them, and yeah. So it's been going well.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Good deal, man. Yeah. I mean, that's great. We got to hear from Twinkie at the last episode, on the last episode.
That was nice. Yeah.
I have a feeling, a suspicion that he's been listening in. Possibly not. I don't know. Could be Broadman. We are at 2 viewers right now. Thanks for listening all the way to the end.
Yeah, thank you. We
appreciate that. I don't have anything else really. You guys have anything?
Yeah. We made it here, man. Made it to 50.
We made it 50. That's fucking
right.
Awesome. Like, man, if Kevin Smith's statistics are right, like, just keep a lookout for whose lives
saving a
we
life
changed,
somewhere.
Right? That's
certainly been
awesome.
a great thing in my life, which it's well covered on the podcast. But I mean, each
saved
week,
my life. That's for sure.
Each week, I'm so grateful for this opportunity to spend this much time talking to people I like this much.
Absolutely.
And in the long walk short drink, I'm enjoying the journey. Destination will come, but this is
40 minutes.
It's been fun, and I'm not done. Not done with the journey. Well, I mean, done for the day, but I remember saying that with Dave too.
That's right.
Yeah, he's got me doing Frankenstein or something, and I'm like, done for the day.
Yeah. That was like Moto saying that was a wrap for the day. I was like forcing him to my will, and he was, or we're not forcing him, but he was like, all right. And then at the end of that scene, he was like, all right, that's a wrap. Done for the day.
Done for the day. Get on a slide or something.
Yeah, you would have been like 4 or 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Moto, we've made it to 50. Let's make it to 100, buddy.
I'm going to be there. That'll be very special. We'll have to
Oh man,
I'll have to drink a beer or something.
Well, that's when 100 happens. We should be in the same space for that. I'm just going to say that now. That'd be
yeah.
There
I think
you
that's
go.
worth.
Yeah.
There you go.
So,
looking forward to that again.
absolutely. So, well, let's go through the list. So, audibletrial.com/LWSD. Sign up for your trial, but more importantly, you'll get your free audiobook for that. Cujo, Unfuck Yourself, Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, Man's Search for Meaning, Annihilation, start that trilogy. The Outsider for sure, so that you can listen to Squadcast's book club on it while they try to do what we did for the Dead Zone.
Oh,
Dead Zone. So audibletrial.com/LWSD. Follow us on Twitter at LWSD Pod. Go to YouTube. That's the big one. Dave has been doing a great job of mixing these into awesome visuals as well, which is something different than the earlier episodes. You get the awesome Moto mixes on the earlier episodes, which are awesome. And then you get these video ones off the YouTube channel for the later episodes. I can't think of anything that would be better.
it's literally what we experience.
Yeah,
As we record it, it's no different.
absolutely. And while you're at YouTube, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and ring the bell. The subscription is important because we're closer every day to hitting that 100 mark, which will give us our unique URL, which will make it easier for all new listeners to find us. And if you ring the bell, you get notified every time we do these live recording sessions where you get to see us recording our podcast episodes. And you get to interact with us via our YouTube channel.
Yes, indeed.
You can also email us at lwsdpod@gmail.com. We are officially going on hiatus. This will be the last episode you'll hear until probably sometime in August. So enjoy your summer. Be safe. Put on sunscreen. And
Wear sunscreen.
Wear sunscreen.
Look up that song.
Yeah, look up that song. Another one to add to Double D's project there. I know we've mentioned that before. It'll just be another tally mark next to it now.
That's right.
So
then when we come back, I think what we've been talking about, what I want to try to make happen is just Wednesday. So I drop episodes usually midnight Tuesdays or whatever, and sometimes a little later on YouTube because of the upload time. But the plan when coming back is 1 week we'll record an episode on a Wednesday, and then the following week that episode will be released as a podcast. The next week we'll be recording a new one. So on Wednesday, you can get a dose of LWSD if you're into it. Which, if you're listening to this, that would mean you are.
Wednesdays at 8.
Yeah,
okay.
That's right.
Yeah,
might be 40 minutes late.
Yes,
and I think we talked about.
I love it.
What is it?
So
Bad
true.
bet? Is that what it is?
Wrong bet.
Bet. Wrong bet.
Yeah.
That one. Yeah.
Wrong bet.
Be our side JCVD podcast.
I think that we said when we talked last week, we were saying we would come back on the 1st, right? With the live recording on the 1st of August.
That sounds right. Let me rock a calendar quick. June, July. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah. So if you're listening to this, just expect August the 1st. We're going to have our live recording first. That episode will be put out and published on for our podcast on the 8th. So we'll be recording that conversation. We'll return on August the 1st. So keep an eye out on our Twitter page. While we're on hiatus, I'm sure we'll be still putting out some good Twitters. This episode's going to launch. But otherwise, look for that live link for our recording session to happen on August the 1st. Otherwise, I don't know, long walk and don't make it short drink. Stay hydrated. It's fucking hot out there.
Yeah. Too damn hot.
Too fucking hot. Moto, thanks so much for joining us, buddy. I appreciate it. Double D, thank you so much for joining us. Twinkie, I'm sorry you couldn't join us. You were here in spirit for sure. We had you in our hearts.
Always.
And Dave, thanks, buddy.
Thank you, sir. You're welcome.
Yeah.
And you're welcome.
And you're welcome. Love you guys. You guys have a great night, all right?
Love you too.
All right, man. Love you guys too.
Love you, long walkers.
Yep. And long walkers, we'll talk to you soon. See you on the 1st. August 1st.